a soldier, an airman, and a Marine walk into a room. This show is The Punchline. My name is Ryan Smeltz, and you're watching Veteran Talk Show.
Sure.
And now all these, it's just so weird.
Yeah.
Because I was like, fuck Raleigh. It's such a boring place. I'm out, bro. I'm out.
Fuck Raleigh.
And now it's like, it's a lot different now.
Quick question. Earlier when you did the checks on the mic, you did this one and then that one?
I did both, yeah.
Okay, we're good then. Him and I have very deep voices and we're loud as fuck. So if he does a mic check for me, it's good.
When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son. Sorry, that's my Johnny Cash.
He's learning Pearl Jam right now.
Yeah, I was just like 5 minutes ago. I was like, wait, I set up. I was like, all right, no one's here. I just pulled down the guitar. I was like, yeah, I want to learn this. That was going to be really loud. Come here. Come here.
Look at Max. He's so fat and waddly.
He is.
So this is exciting. So Michaelyn, there's no rules.
Yeah.
It's exciting because you're actually the first
Female.
No, you're the second.
No, we
female.
had a Marine.
Oh.
We had a Marine.
She
but
was
we never
med-sept, though.
She was what?
She was med-sept, medically separated.
Oh, okay.
Which is not a bad thing. I'm just saying. She was, and she didn't talk that much. I mean, she was nice, but like,
and she was that big.
Yeah, she was. Well, and we had the Great White Buffalo on that episode, so we were more interested in like finding out more about his shit.
So let's explain. Prior Marine, gone Army, warrant officer, pilot.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he was the warrant officer. So we were like, we're like, we've actually never seen one before. You exist?
It's funny. I actually met him in Atlanta. His name is Mike. So I met him in Atlanta after I had already gotten out.
Yeah.
So we were doing a conference down there with the trades, and they pulled me and him and another girl up on stage to ask about being in the military and doing the trades.
Durango.
And that's when we connected, and he's just right above, just north of Bragg. Yeah. So he was like, "Yeah, I'll come on up."
This may become a problem. I may have to put Durango in her room.
It's
if they keep going at it. They're playing. They're not like being me, but I'm like, we're trying to record a podcast here, people.
Calm down.
Get on board.
It's not about you.
This is the first time we've had this many dogs in the podcast, so there's going to be a lot of background.
This is a lot of dogs in one room. Period.
Max is so Max hates males. That's why he's like next to you. He's like, okay, you'll keep me safe. Like we think he was abused. So he's a rescue.
Sure.
And we thought the only explanation I have for his temperament is that because he doesn't bark, he doesn't do anything.
Quiet, yeah.
He's just whenever he gets next to a woman, he just like curls right up next to her. And it's like, you're not going to hurt me.
He's
I'm
a
like,
good
I feel
boy.
bad for him.
Max is a good boy.
And I'm watching him while my dad recovers.
Papa.
And then there's Frank.
And then there's Frank.
So Michaelyn.
4.
Oh, so
yeah. So there's still quite a bit. Yeah.
4.
These dogs are like exhausted. They were like, we did our 3 mile off leash hike up in the middle of Bahama, North Carolina.
Dog church.
So they are just like, yep, just let me lay here.
That was fun. Now we're gonna nap.
Yep, that's exactly like this one will start first. That one you'll hear in about 20 minutes. Once she rolls over and goes paws up, she's done for. She's done for.
So you're 4. So where did you get him?
San Diego.
Yeah.
That's where I was stationed for.
How is San Diego?
Beautiful and expensive.
Yeah.
And a cluster of just completely retarded people.
Well, I mean, it's a military town, so that makes sense. It's better than Jacksonville because you don't have the beautifulness.
Sure.
It's just trailer parks, tattoo parlors, and strip clubs and car dealerships.
And check.
And stupid people. Jacksonville's a shithole.
Yeah. I actually had a friend that is in the Navy and just went Army. He's trying to do the Special Forces before his time goes up. So he's in Fort Bragg, and he was stationed in Jacksonville first.
They didn't tell him about SF before he went Navy?
Probably not.
It sounds like something I would do because I joined the Army. I didn't know shit about it.
Yeah.
And I got in and I was like, oh, okay, this, that, and the
Durango.
third. Like if I had known about Navy SEALs before I joined the Army and put a lot more effort into my career.
I think there was more of like an age requirement on our side versus Army's Special Forces teams. Maybe.
I don't know.
Or maybe.
Well, so he's like Green Beret or Ranger
He's trying.
or Delta.
I think he's trying to go Green Beret. I believe jump. He's trying to jump and stuff.
Yeah, so that, I mean, they all have to go through jump
Ranger
training.
is tan, green is Special Forces, red is airborne. If you're a Green Beret, you can be all three. If you're SF, you can be airborne, Ranger, and Special Forces.
We don't have all of that.
Yeah.
We have Recon and MARSOC. And they're the exact same thing, I believe.
Yes.
And I'm probably
Because Matt Best does a song about it.
Yeah, so there's a guy who's a YouTuber, Nick, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Stephalopoulos. It's very Greek.
Yep.
But he's a YouTuber, and he was in both MARSOC and Recon. And I think the only real difference between the two is MARSOC is part of JSOC.
Yep.
And Recon is strictly Marines.
Yep.
Like they don't report to JSOC at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's really the
I'm pretty sure
defining
that's what
line.
it is because the impression I got, Matt Best does a rap battle. That's like,
I love those. Have you seen those?
Yes. Oh my God. I've reached the end of YouTube a time or two.
I've gone down the Black Rifle rabbit hole. So my favorite thing that they do is like the veterans react, and then like if veterans were in horror movies. Those are by far my two favorite things that they do. Have you not seen? Oh, you've got to watch it. It's so
Definitely not
great.
the React one.
Oh, the reacts are funny because they just do like movies,
Yeah.
and they like they just have random guys on there and girls, really, and they reacting to video, like just and the banter in it is hilarious. It is. You've got to go down that rabbit hole. We won't see you for 48 hours, but it is so worth it. It's going to be worth it. But then they do. Have you seen if veterans were in horror movies?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. They sit there and they're all like decked out. They're all decked out and they're like, they have like it coming through and they're like, oh, you have a balloon? I've got a shotgun, bitch. It's the funniest fucking shit ever. And then what's the girl's name who's with them? She does all the veteran barista stuff, or like
I haven't seen
she's
half this
hilarious.
stuff, man. I see
Heather something, I can't remember what she's funny as shit too, because she's like half the time she's drunk, she's just like she did one of them quarantine, she's just like pouring a bottle of tequila into her coffee mug or something, and she's like, fuck it, I don't care.
We're just gonna do this shit.
We're gonna do it.
I haven't seen half those. I saw I follow Matt Best quite a bit. He just wrote a book.
Thank you for my service.
Yeah. And he's been on several podcasts.
We are just dropping free advertising for them right now. Like they need it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather support them than anything else.
Well, I've
really.
actually had a bunch of their coffee is actually really fucking
Oh,
good.
the Black Rifle?
Yeah. Their shit's actually like really fucking like I was like, I'll buy it to support it, not having like the highest hopes for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy I was like, damn, this shit's good. I get it. I try and get it in 2 bags like once, and that's not my everyday coffee because it's a little on the pricey side, and I get why.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's worth it. Like that's my like Saturday morning. I don't have shit to do. I'm going to sit here and enjoy my coffee.
Is it like boat coffee, like just straight or gasoline?
Well, it depends on which one you get.
Sure.
I've gotten. I really kind of stay with the medium. I don't go far dark.
You haven't had it yet.
No, I've seen it though, and I was just
Fucking
like,
good.
eh.
It's fucking good.
I got a bag when so there's a buddy of mine that he was a Green Beret and he owns a nutrition shop about an hour from here, and they started carrying it because you walk in there, you can tell somebody that owns this is a veteran.
Yeah.
And he started carrying it and he was like, yeah, we just got this, it's whatever % off to start with. I was
It's like crack. The first taste is free, and it's worth it. I mean,
it was good.
Just to get you on.
Yeah, it was just, that shit. This is probably the best coffee. And I'm not a huge coffee nerd. Like Folgers is fine for me, right? Like I'm not one of those. But this coffee is like shit, dude, it's fucking legit.
Let's get some stuff done today.
Yeah, let's. Like, for me, it's not even about getting stuff done. It's like, I'm going to just sit back, relax, and enjoy this.
Oh, yeah.
This beautiful orgy that's going on in my mouth.
It's good.
It's good shit, man.
I did see something recently that I hope they pick up on. A new way to sell coffee. And that is you get a free, like, Wi-Fi connected scale. And you put your bag of coffee on it.
Huh.
And you make your coffee and you put your bag. I'm not going to name drop because I'd rather. But you
I'd
put
rather
your
get
bag
paid
of
for
coffee.
that shit.
There's only one company I know that's that's doing it, but you put your bag back on it, and so they keep track of how much you use, how often,
Huh.
and then it reorders for you. So
Oh,
you
like
don't
a-
have to
yeah.
do monthly or bi-monthly
No.
or anything. You just whenever
Set
you're on.
up.
I literally, like, I buy, if it wasn't as expensive as it was, because I think 2 bags cost me, and like just 2 regular,
Oh yeah, the little
like the little bags, like was like $30-something. Worth every fucking penny. Though. But like, it's not one of those things where I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy this
Sure.
every week, because then I'd be fucking broke.
Right. Too bougie.
Yeah. It's not even bougie. Like, it's,
You know, I mean the
It's-
price though.
like, price wise, it's expensive. And I get why they do it. Like, because they take their time
Yeah.
about, because I think they do all their own roasting and all this other shit.
Oh,
Like, I'm
yeah.
like, these guys are into it. Why are you humping my couch, Frank?
He's trying to get to Matt.
Max is just like, I am not about this life.
I'm so sorry.
I am not about this life.
I probably should have said this earlier, but if you notice your mic dropping too much, just
Oh.
let me know.
Okay.
It's called gravity.
Yeah.
I need a
Kind
better.
of sucks.
These are the
What does it have
cheapest
you
mic
say?
stands.
20 or 18 34 the gravity
The boob.
yeah
The boob gravity. Happens. Mine are starting to sag, so I'm getting old.
So that was a tape reference.
yeah
That was
Okay.
it.
And I don't think I ever had to, because I was never part of the team that taped, you know. And then obviously when they did females, a female would tape a female. I don't know much about it. Went over my head. I got lost.
I'm right now just, I don't know where you're going with this.
She
Yeah, I know that.
and I didn't get
it was
it.
in reference to gravity and like there's what is it 13 going on 30 I think is the movie reference, the movie quote. It's 18 and then you get to 34 or wherever and you're
oh
Knuckle dragging at that point.
yeah. Rolling back up.
So what was your job in the Navy?
I worked on helicopters on the avionics side, so it's like a bit on the nerd side. Just pretty much worked with anything.
Like mechanic wise, or you
No.
like electronics in the helicopter?
Electronics.
Dude, that had to translate into civilian life, though.
Easy. Oh yeah, I got a dope ass job in San Diego when I got out. I spent 8 years in, I think, and
So all the background now is just be like, why does it sound like there's a herd of cattle running through this house?
I spent 8 years in, and then another
Hey,
extra 3, I think, in San Diego in this job. And I just had to get out of San Diego. Like I was.
do you do it here?
No, I'm trying to get into school for mechanical engineering
Nice.
to kind of step up that game.
Think,
Holy shit.
I think
Yeah.
NC State has it pretty good.
They have, one of the best.
Post 9/11, use it.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure.
Use it. Like when I got out, like after I got out, all my boots, like anybody I could talk to when I talked
Yeah.
to them about they're going through the getting out process.
Yeah.
It's like, what do I do? Where should I go? I was like, I don't go to fucking college, bro.
Right? Get
Yeah.
paid
I was
to
like,
go to school.
Go to NY. Go find a college in a very expensive zip code. Live 20 minutes outside of that zip code where it's much cheaper.
Oh, they changed that.
Oh, did they? Oh, that fucking
Just
sucks.
maybe the last couple years at least, maybe few at the moment.
But
But
I told like all of them were like, I don't want to go to college.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, dude, bro, like it is
Yeah.
free money. Like it is free fucking money.
I just talked to a friend last night. We do this. It's from the battalion I deployed with. We do like a video chat on Facebook. You can do those rooms,
oh, cool, yeah.
and we all got on there. And she got 100% getting out, and then went to school. So she was making $4,500 a month.
Mhm.
Yeah. You make stupid. I worked in a bar under the table and got tips.
Yeah.
And that plus my GI
School,
Bill.
yeah.
I was like, I was rolling. I remember I was shopping for a car and like, this was like the first time I'd ever actually like was like, I'm going to look at buying an actual new car.
Sure.
So it's a learning process for me. And so I'm like talking to my mom, and she's, because she's gone through budgeting and all this, and I'm learning that part of adulting. And she's like, well, how much money you made? I told her, and she's like, holy fuck, I didn't do that until I was in my 40s. I was like, yeah, Mom, I'm balling. I'm a fucking baller.
That's how I got started in the stock market, because I was making so much. I was going to school and worked a full-time sales job, full commission, no cap.
See, I don't trust sales jobs.
You gotta like. I love sales.
I can't deal with stupid people, and I would look at someone and just be like, "Look, buy my shit." No, I will throat punch you.
I mean, but you
About your day.
Like, that's my selling.
You've experienced it though, because I mean, you've had to sell yourself into the positions you've held, and you've done really well for yourself there.
No, I'm just awesome at my job, and my work speaks for itself. That's just cockiness.
Yeah.
that's what the Marine Corps taught me. Yeah. That's what the Marine Corps taught me, was like, you are the cockiest son of a bitch in the world. And I'm not, and I have no reason to be cocky whatsoever. But that's just something I learned in the Marine Corps.
So back to what you did when you got in, is that what you wanted to do? Or how does the Navy work?
So the Navy's pretty set. You go and take the ASVAB. They give you a list of the jobs that you can qualify for.
Marine Corps is the same way.
Yeah. And pretty much, I don't know if it's still today, but you were guaranteed that job that you picked.
Oh, the Marine Corps was not like that.
I think it was your 3, right?
Yeah, we got a wish list of 3, and it was like, in the contract it says based on needs of the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I scored like high on the ASVAB, which isn't hard. All right, let me say this. I'm a pretty smart guy. Like, this is gonna sound cocky, but it's legit. I'm not. I like to read. I'm sure. I had college experience. I took the ASVAB. May or may not have been coming off an acid trip. Just saying. Maybe.
Maybe.
That was maybe. I was like, oh, that was the last. Like, I was like, gotta prepare.
Today.
Well, I was like, I am going to sober up. But before, I was kind of like Brad Knoll, who's the lead singer for Sublime, because apparently the story is he was like, I'm going to sober up. I have all these drugs I'm going to do, so I'm going to go out on the beach and just do them all at once. And that's how we OD'd. That's what someone told me once. I was like, well, that makes sense.
Just going to go all out.
Yeah. So that's what I did. I was like, and acid doesn't stay in the system long. So if they drug test me, it's fine. Yeah. So I went on a like huge binge and got rid of all my drugs by ingesting them. And what was funny was I went in, I was still kind of I was coming down like real hard. Sure. I was like, all right, well, I'll take this. I scored a 98, I think, out of 99 on it. Yeah. And the recruiter's like, you can have any job in the Marine Corps. Here's all of our jobs, and I guarantee you'll get them. I didn't even look through them. Yeah. I was like, look, bro, I want to be in the infantry. He's like, well, you got to pick 3. I was like, okay, so I'll be infantry, recon. No, I was like infantry, recon, snipers. And he was like, those are all infantry-based MOSs. Choose something else. I was like, look, man, maybe you're not smelling when I'm stepping in here. It's infantry or nothing. Like the point for me was like, if I'm going to go to the Marine Corps, this is why I'm going to the Marine Corps.
Give it. I got it. I got it. Give
it. I'm not making a career out of this. This is a test to see if what kind of person I am. Yeah. And he was like, all right. And he called me like a day later and was like, all right, well, you can leave in like the only spot for infantry has to go to boot camp in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something.
Yeah, I did the same. I
was like, done. Sign me up. I'll be in 45 minutes to sign my contract. I was 22. I was like, yeah, all right, cool. I signed on the paper and then I called my parents. Oh Lord. I was like, hey, so just to get you up on my day, I'm going to Paris Island in 2 weeks. So I've got to move all my shit back to your house in Raleigh. And in 2 weeks I got to be back up here to ship off for boot camp. My mom's like, what?
I did
She was like,
the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, well, I had 18 credits to a bachelor's degree.
Oh, okay.
And that was the other thing the recruiter tried to do. He was like,
Just
dude,
finish your shit.
he was like, dude, that's 1 year. Just do your 1 year and go in as an officer. I'm like, no, nope, not doing that.
Now or never.
Now or never. Like, I've committed to this goal. I've been sober for 72 hours. This is what's happening. Like, if I'm here for any longer, I'm not going to be sober, and shit's got. I'm just not going to join the Marine
You
Corps.
can kiss this 98 goodbye.
Yeah. So that was my entry into the Marine Corps. But he was like, dude, you should really do, like, he's like, this will translate in the civilian world and blah. And I should have listened to him.
Sure.
Yeah.
I should have listened to him. Because when I went through SEPs and TAPs, they were like, they started, all the infantry guys are in the back, which was hilarious. Like, we were like the class, like, it's a huge, so SEPs and TAPs is what
I'm only here because I have to.
yeah, like I have to like just sign my fucking paper so I can check the fuck out. But it's a class. It's like a week-long class where you like wear civilian clothes and you show up.
Interviews. They
They go through how to interview, how to look for interview, how to apply, where to look. They go through what all this stuff, but to reacclimate to civilian life.
Yeah.
And they bring in all of these people, and they're like, any motor, and like all these people are like, oh, any motor T, any aviation people, any blah, and people raise their hands, oh, come see me out at break or whatever. Finally, this gunny who was getting out, who had been in the infantry, raises his hand. He's like,
what about us?
He's like, any infantry stuff that we can do? And the dude looks at him and goes, well, you can maybe be a cop or go into security contracting. He's like, fuck no, if I want to do that, I'd re-enlist. So like nothing infantry related, translated into civilian life.
He keeps putting his paws on his head.
Well, he knows that Max is. Well, I think it's that Max is definitely the beta.
Oh.
Because Max will not do anything. Max will just lay on his back and take whatever.
Just take
is.
it.
Yeah. Hi.
So when did you go in, Michaelyn? What was like?
Let's see. I went in. I was 20 years old, December 2008.
That's when I was in the fleet. I had just dropped to the fleet.
Yeah.
In 2008. I was 23 at that point. I turned 23 at boot camp on the Crucible.
And then, so you went straight to Iraq then?
Yeah, well, not straight, like a few months. I think I was in the fleet. So I dropped to the fleet in October of 07.
Yeah. Oh.
It was 07.
Oh, schools and stuff, yeah.
So and then in 08, I think it was like April or May of 08 is when I went to it deployed.
Did you get to deploy?
I did. Let's see. First, I did an IA billet with the Army down in Gitmo. That was stellar.
I heard Gitmo was actually a lot of fun. They have like a whole bay to themselves, and they've
two sides. There's no in between. It's the shit job with the just 21-year-old college kids raging every night, pretty much. Hey.
Do you guys need a microphone?
Oh, yeah. Papa, hey. It's okay.
This one barks at anything.
Yeah. He barks at to a company.
Yeah, she will bark like leaves blow in the backyard. She's like,
I've got it, Dad.
Like, I got this, Dad.
They're going to investigate.
Well, my neighbor's dogs might be out.
Oh, okay.
So this is going to be fun for anyone listening in the pod. Like, look at Max. Max is like, no, I'm cool.
No, I'm good.
Doesn't bark. He just looks and is like, you guys got this? Good, because I cannot contribute at all.
Nor do I want to.
Nor do I want to. So just waiting for the sweet release of death.
So fun fact, my mom's father was a retired E9 from the Navy. And she was upset when she found out I was going into the Army.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, come on, why didn't you go into the Navy?
So I don't know how I would do in the Navy. Like, part of me was like, if I'm going to do the Navy, like, it'd be cool to go out on a ship and like.
It's not.
And then I was like looking, I was like, this wouldn't be cool at all. Like, I remember coming home from Iraq and being like, oh, they're going to send us on a MEU.
Yeah.
And I was stoked.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was like, yeah, I'm going to just roll in. I'm going to do a med float. I'm going to roll into like
those are
Italy
cush. Yeah,
and like slay bitches. Like, that's what I'm going to do.
pull into port.
Yeah, just pull into port and never pull out. You know what I mean? Start my army. Genghis Khan's got nothing on me, son.
My little football team overseas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if it has my genes, they ain't going to be a football team. They are not graceful. But we were really excited. And then we had a small unit leader meeting in the warlord room in our battalion room. Our battalion commander comes in and he goes, so I know we've been training because we were home for like a few months and then we were really gearing up to go on a MEU. And they were like, yeah, we're not going on a MEU. We're going to Afghanistan. And he just walked out. And like most of the Marines in that room, because we're all infantry guys, were all excited. Me, I was just like,
Man,
motherfucker.
I had my hopes set.
Like the one thing the reason I wanted to go into the Marine Corps was so I could go on a MEU. Like, because so when I decided to join, I had just come home from a study abroad in Europe. And I was like, yeah, I get to travel and shit. This would be awesome. And the only fucking thing I saw was Iraq and Afghanistan. With a slight detour in Uzbekistan and Kuwait.
Yeah, nothing else.
Nothing else. 29 Palms was thrown in there once or twice. That's about it. That was the extent of my Marine Corps travels. So all pretty much shitholes.
Yeah.
I got pretty lucky because I went to Iraq. On the way to Iraq, we stopped in Ireland, Kuwait, Ireland to refuel, Kuwait, 2 or 3 weeks of training, went to Iraq, 15 months, Bush administration.
I was in Iraq the day Obama got elected and we got rocketed for it.
I was in boot camp.
I was in Iraq when Obama got elected, when he won the election in 2008. And that night when they announced it, we got rockets hitting our base. We had like 4 or 5 rockets at our base. Just as a reminder, like, you're still fucking here. It doesn't matter. I'll never forget.
He can't get you out soon enough.
Yeah. I remember I had a corpsman who was from like the projects of like Dallas or somewhere in Texas. And he was very excited about Obama being elected. And so the next morning, we're all standing outside and smoking, and we are literally leaving. Yeah. Like we are waiting to get on a plane and come home. Like our deployment was over at that point. And as soon as he sees our CO walking past the smoke pit, he goes, because they would always talk politics and shit. He walks up to our CO and he goes, "Hey, sir, did you hear?" And my CO just looks at me. My doc doesn't have his rifle with him, and he goes, "Doc, I don't give a fucking shit what you have to say unless you got your weapon on you." And he just kept walking. Everyone's like, "Oh shit, burn!" And our squad leader looked at him and was like, "Yeah, my black man might be in charge, but white man's still running shit." And I was just like, "Yep, this is the military. Anywhere else, that would just be like, that would be like
HR.
Oh like, yeah, you'd be fired or shit." Like, but all of us were just laughing. He was just like, "Motherfuckers."
I was so thankful the job I got after the military. It was like 80% veterans. So there was no worrying about being PC or we were all
not me. The job I got, I was like, oh, I cannot be a veteran here.
Yeah.
I am in corporate world. Like I cannot, like, I'll never forget the first time I rolled my, because I used to have to wear a suit and tie, and I rolled my sleeves up the first time and they saw tattoos, and like my corporate boss was there and he's like, "Oh,
if I would have known that."
And I was like, "Oh, sorry." He said, "Huh." He was like, huh. But yeah, like working in corporate world, like, see, that's the shitty thing is like, if you get in on a job that is like very vet friendly, like you can still be a vet and talk
like you used to.
Yeah. Like the 1 or 2 vets that worked in my marketplaces where I worked for this company I worked for, I could always talk to them like a vet.
Yeah.
No one else though.
Could be around either.
Yeah, nobody. Like no one. Like people, and here's the thing: is like people, like I would sit in executive meetings, and people would be like, I have a photo of us up at Walter Reed when we went to go see a buddy of ours. Like the whole platoon went up there, and so it's on my back wallpaper or whatever on the computer. So I plugged my computer into this giant big screen to pull up this presentation.
Oh, Lord.
And it's all of us in a uniform and shit.
Yeah.
And it's, and you can very much see him. And he was a quad amputee. And he's standing there with his like crutch and his like fake hand. And someone just is like, oh, what's all that? And I explained the story to him. And he's like, oh, that's right. You were in the Marine. He's like, what'd you do? I was like, infantry. He's like, oh.
Run
You
away
went to
now.
Iraq and Afghanistan? I was like, yeah. You ever kill anyone? It's like,
Not yet.
I was like, really, bro? Like,
Ask me that again.
this is the question. This is the question. And I don't get that about civilian. Like, I get it, but I don't get it. Like, it's like,
It's just so unfathomable.
I had a girl at a bar once ask me that. And she was like, how many people have you killed? And I was like, I don't know. How many dicks have you sucked?
Oh my god!
Like, it's the same type of question. Like that's the exact same type of question for me. Like it's something you just don't ask, like randomly at a bar.
That's amazing.
Every
Oh,
time
dude, I have said some terrible things to some people before just because they piss me off, and I'm like, I don't give a shit.
No holds barred anymore.
No holds barred. I had a girl after Iraq. We were at a bar. I came home on post deployment leave, and my buddy's like, "Hey, man, hold my beer while I go take a piss." I'm like, "Sure, man," because I was out with all the friends I grew up with, and they were welcoming me home and shit. And we were at downtown Raleigh at a state bar. At an NC State bar, and this girl's like, "Oh, you're the beer bitch," blah 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 blah. And I was like, "Listen here, thunder cunt." And she was like, "Oh my god, how dare you?" And I'm like, "Fuck you! I'll fuck you up." Like, I don't give a shit.
I don't care if you have tits.
Oh,
Shut up.
Yeah. So the bouncer at the bar knew me. Like, I went to high school with him and shit. And he was like, he saw what was going on. He's like, "I got this, bro." And I'm like, so he kicked her and her friends, like, she went to go tell her frat buddies.
Sure.
That I guess
To start
she was
some
running,
shit, yeah.
getting a train run on, I guess. I don't know. But they all got kicked out because we started into it. And so as I was leaving the bar to go to the next bar, the bouncer looked at me, he's like, "Hey, man, just to let you know, that girl who you called the thunder cunt was like looking at all the frat boys she was with, convincing them to come and jump you. So just watch your back while you're walking down the street."
Sure.
And I just walked out into the middle of the street and I was like, "Thunder cunt!" And I was like, "Fucking bring it."
Come out.
Everyone was laughing. They were like, "What the fuck is going on?" He's like, "Oh, he's trying to get in a fight." I don't know.
With a
sounds
bunch
like
of-
a Marine. Sounds
I was like,
a Marine.
all my friends, like, because I was not with any Marines at this point. It was just me and my friends from like that I grew up with.
Yeah.
And they were all like, "Oh my God, we're getting our ass kicked." It's like, "I got this, bro.
I don't even need you.
I got this. I got this. I'll throat punch one of them and the fight will be over." But I was walking up and down Hillsborough Street going, "ThunderCon!" Yeah.
We were in A school, Pensacola, for our initial training school, and just stationed. Both Marines and Navy went through their same aviation schools and stuff, and it's just like a total shit show watching them walk on the base and stuff. Shit house, just you're like, oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Why are they our children?
Yeah. Oh, dude. There's something about being in the Marines where it's like part of your MOS is to get as shit hammered as humanly possible.
As quick as.
Like I don't know what so like Mortarman, part of their MOS is they become great spades players. So don't ever play spades with tube strokers. I know that much. They are fucking great at spades. No matter how good you think you are, Mortarman will kick your ass. I cannot tell you how many spades games I've played on deployment where I'm like kicking ass in a team, and I got in, and then the Mortarmen come in and they just like fucking. It's like American History X prison rape scene. You're just like, oh well, that happened.
That was fun. Thanks.
Yeah. All right, now I'm just gonna lay here and bleed. Thank you. Here's my money. It got to the point in Afghanistan where like one of my buddies who was a Mortarman would come down and be like, "Hey man, we're playing spades." I'd be like, "Here's my money." I don't even need to sit down. I know.
Need to come.
I don't know. I know.
Here's
But part of
my
being a Marine was like you would just get shit faced.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it was great because we'd always get shit faced on like a weeknight when we were out in the field training. We go PT and then like we'd be puking and like our platoon sergeants and officers would be like, "Yeah, you're putting out. That's what we like." We're like, "We're not really. We're still drunk." My unit, when we had to test the CFT. I don't know if
PRT.
it was. Yeah. So we
Yours
had
is a 3 mile though, right?
Yeah. So that's the PFT. Yeah. So we had a PFT and a CFT.
Oh, I see.
So so we had a physical fitness test.
Yeah.
Which we had to do twice a year.
Yeah.
And then we, on top of it, to make the Pogues feel, no offense, to make the for both of you, make the Pogues feel like they were grunts.
I think that's the first time anyone's ever apologized for.
I didn't apologize.
For
I
me
just
not
said
being
no
combat
offense.
arms. No offense.
No offense. But
It was like a half-ass.
But they sent it out to like the infantry units. They're like, hey, test this test and see what you think and let us know the feedback. We're trying to simulate combat environment, blah, blah, blah. So me and my roommate in our company, we were two of like, I think 30 guys in our company that were like names pulled out of a hat.
Sure.
And at the end of so this was like, I think a Wednesday or Thursday, and we had to run it on the next morning. And my roommate just turns to me. He's like, fuck it, bro. We're getting shit bombed. We went to the 7-Day store and bought a bottle of Jaeger and 2 cases of beer and drank all of it. Just the two of us in one night. And we stopped drinking probably around 3:30 or 4 in the morning.
Must have been thirsty.
Oh yeah, we were really thirsty. We were shit faced. And we wake up, we have to be in formation at like 5:45 and green on green. And so we were still drunk because we're like,
oh yeah.
Or it wasn't green on green, it was boots and utes. And we show up and we are obviously still drunk. We're like, I don't give a shit about this test. And the very first thing they made us do is like, all right, you're going to sprint 800 meters or something as fast as you can, or 1,000, whatever it is. And this is not like the 3 mile on the PFT where you pace yourself.
Yeah.
This is a sprint.
Yeah.
And this is a pass or fail. We're just trying to average out everybody's time.
Set a standard.
Yeah, set a standard. And so we just take off running. We get done with that, and he and I are off to the side, just exorcism style. and I remember he just looked at me, and it's like he's just it's just like leaking off of his face, and he's like, maybe drinking wasn't a good idea. I was like, we got this, bro. We got this. And then we had to go do buddy carries and shit, and run like an obstacle course, and then throw a blue ball grenade. And we were just we were so shit faced for it. We were just we threw this grenade and he chucked it like a fucking baseball. He's just like, ah! And the thing went like 70 yards. And I was like, the dude monitoring this test was like, you're supposed to make it into that little box. And he's like, oh, whoops. I remember I was doing the ammo can. Like they give you an ammo can, you just have to shoulder press it. Before we started, I was like, so the minimum is how much? And they're like 42. I was like, okay. And we had I think it was like a minute or 2 minutes to get as many as you could. Yeah. But the minimum was like a random number, like 42 or some shit. I remember I did my minimum and I just put it down.
I'm done, yeah.
And I just laid down.
Waited for the rest.
Yeah, the guy monitoring is like, you okay? And I was like, I'm just not feeling good today. He's like, you need to go to BAS. I'm like, ooh, well, they could give me the saline, which should make this all go away.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
We had several guys.
Closed down I opened and closed a strip club the night I came home from Iraq. Literally. We found out it opened at 6. This was 24 hours after coming home from Iraq.
They give you free steak lunch?
No. It wasn't open for lunch. It opened at 5. And so my entire platoon,
strip club.
It was a classy strip club.
It was a classy strip club.
Well, this was we came home on a Tuesday. And so Wednesday night, we all go there.
Yeah.
And it was my entire platoon. So we show up in force as a platoon at Driftwood.
Those poor women.
And they were they immediately, you saw flip phones, because this is back in the time of flip phones. The flip phones all went out and they started making their phone calls unit just came home from deployment. And they brought in reinforcements.
We're gonna need more of you bitches. Come on.
That was the night a buddy of mine got bear maced by a bouncer. We got so shit faced. And I was and I drew the short straw, so I had to draw. I was one of the DDs. Oh yeah, I was. Bummer. But it was hilarious because I got to sit there and just watch the shit show that was Marines who haven't drank in 7 months go to a strip club
to unfold, yeah,
and just get fucked.
So that, but we were gone for 15 months.
Yeah, we didn't do that. Yeah, but you guys got to come home on leave.
Yeah, for 18 days.
Well, still.
And it was by ourselves. So when we came back after deployment, we hung out together. So before block leave, we get home and they're like, no drinking. Don't try to cram 15 months worth of drinking into.
I don't know why the senior
night.
Enlisted and officers always try and tell that to people.
Yeah.
Hey, don't try and drink Jacksonville or San Diego dry. We're like, man, it sounds challenge accepted. Like,
CYOA, cover your own ass.
yeah, no, it's happening, bro. I don't know. I don't even know why you're telling me this.
Just save it.
Just look. You're just wasting drinking time at this point.
So where did you go?
So there was the Gitmo for, I think it was within my first couple years I signed up for that. And then I got stationed overseas in Japan to a forward deployed squadron. It was always squadrons. It was never directly onto a ship. So that was kind of the nice life of, not having to live on the ship.
Yeah.
Except for the deployments. And so I flew over to Japan, waited to get transported out because they were on the deployment, and met them in Malaysia and proceeded to get shithouse drunk the first night there. And
pretty much par for the course.
Yeah. And I think they spent 2 days there, and I think that was all. Anyway, and so then that command transferred back over to San Diego to change helicopter platforms. And then we went on a 9-month cruise and went like all across the Western Hemisphere, kind of, all of Asia.
Just travel.
Pretty much.
I heard great things about Bangkok.
I wish, man. Oh, I would again.
I seen videos, pictures,
I
and
would
heard
have given anything to watch a Ladyboy show.
like I saw a video. So I had a buddy. This was the great thing. Like guys who had like re-enlisted and come to my unit from like the West Coast or Hawaii or somewhere would like be like, it would be like it would be like Cub Scouts or something. We're all sitting cross-legged, like listening to them like this, and they'd be like, "Let me tell you about Bangkok in the red light district." All right, I was at a strip club, and this woman, like, there was one, and I shit you not, I saw the video. It was a very grainy video, but
Bummer.
But yeah, but you got the gist of it.
Sure.
So. She would do her strip dance and like it's full nude, and then another girl would walk around and guys would have their money up in the air, and so the girl who was walking around the crowd would grab someone's money and like put a balloon on top of the guy's head,
shoot darts at
and she would sit on the stage like that and shoot darts and hit the balloon, and I'm like, I have to go see this. Like, it's not in any kind of sexual way. No, I just want to see it.
Same. Like, I want to.
I have to see this. Like, I have to, like,
a life goal now.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like, I have to see this. This is what one buddy told me, he's like, no, shit, dude, I saw a girl sit down on a stage and little baby turtles, like a line of them crawled out. And I was like, wait, did she just come out on stage and sit down? And he was like, no, yeah. He was like, no, there was a full striptease. I was like, how did the turtles live?
Well, I mean,
that delved into a 30-minute conversation of just like trying to figure out the mechanics and how this poor woman must have felt. But at the end of it, I was like, I don't care. I need to see this. I was like, I have no desire to go see the sights and sounds of Thailand and experience the beautiful. No, I just need to go to the red light district and watch some of this crazy shit. Yep. That's all I care about.
Well, I'd like to hear those boardroom meetings. All right, what are we going to come up with for crazy shows this week? That is insane.
Pretty sure they're not boardroom meetings. I'm pretty sure they're just like sitting around doing all copious amounts of drugs going, it'd be cool.
This is a good idea. Turtle up there today.
You got some girl stoned out of her mouth. It's like, I can do it, I swear.
All right, Becky can't do it.
Yeah.
Run her up.
Yeah. Well, if some girl's like, I can't do it. It's like, well, after we run a train on you, you will be able to.
I promise.
Okay. like I've heard stories like, and I went to Amsterdam, and like I thought Amsterdam was pretty tame.
Sure, yeah.
Like I was like, oh, this is a red light. Ooh. And this was before the Marine Corps, and then I heard stories about red light districts in Bangkok, and I'm like,
fuck.
there is no fucking way.
Yeah, I wasted a trip.
I was like, there is no way. And they're like, no, dude, you just need to go see it for yourself. And I'm like, yes, I do.
They have a tamer version in Hawaii. I never got to go. I was on duty the night that all of my friends found the place, just fucking walking around. And so, but I've heard is just a tamer version.
So, Tulsi Gabbard is starting a traveling
I love her,
podcast. By the way. Maybe once this launches and we get some attention, we can travel down there. She
Dude,
can be on our podcast. We can be on her podcast.
I was the only. I was so rooting for her to be like the nominee and be. I was like, she had my vote.
Yeah,
yeah. I like policy wise. I'm like, fuck yes. She's like the only one who's like, I'm not going to completely bow down to one party.
She was just on Joe Rogan's show again recently.
Yeah, so the first I was ever exposed to her was Joe Rogan and Jocko, when Joe Rogan and Jocko had her on Joe Rogan.
That's the first time.
And my wife and I were listening to her on the way home. We were coming back from a family beach trip, and we listened to the podcast the entire time. And at the end of the trip, we were like, at the end of the podcast, rather, we were like, this woman's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, she's got my vote.
Yeah.
And then I would tell like my mom, who's huge liberal.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, yeah, and she's like, she's crazy. And I'm like, why? Why is she crazy?
Have you listened?
I was like, why is she crazy? Cite your work.
Yeah.
My family talks politics. My dad was in politics back in the 70s here. Both my parents worked in state government. And like, my dad's super conservative. My mom's super liberal. Probably why they got divorced when I was so young.
Okay, yeah.
It's one of probably many reasons. Like, my mom will be like, your dad is fucking crazy. Dad's hardcore, like hardcore. Like, to the point where like, I'm like, Dad,
a little much.
you're like, I'm Republican, but you are like,
oh no.
yeah, you are on that whole level of like goose stepping at this point. Like, let's ease back.
Yeah.
You know,
Mom is straight up like the complete like Woodstock hippie.
yeah.
So, but we talk politics all the time, and I'm like, no, we need, you know, Tulsi is the person that we need.
Yeah.
My mom would be like, she's crazy. My dad would be like, she's a Democrat, so I don't give a fuck.
It's just no.
Yeah, just
It's no.
And I'm like, come on, Dad.
I definitely would have considered it.
Oh yeah. Oh, if she would have made the nominee, I'd have been.
So she ran.
Yeah, she didn't make it to. She was in the primary.
Yeah.
She was in the
She
primary.
kicked Kamala's ass in the debate. She like threw down on Kamala, and I thought that was fucking.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh shit, burn! Like, I watched the debate, and I was like, fuck it, like it was brutal.
Yeah, I missed the debate. I was so bummed. I was like,
it was brutal. Like, she went after her, and she's like, okay. It was like literally like Tulsi's like, I'm gonna take my rings off. Hold them shits. I'm coming after you, bitch. Like, she destroyed. And it's like Kamala's just like couldn't say any, like, because like she had facts on her side. She was just like, so what about this and what about that, and you know, here's this and blah blah blah. And Kamala's just like,
oh fuck,
shit.
She brought her in. I'm fucked.
Yeah.
And that's what she was talking about on the most recent episode, was like the issues and what really needs to be talked about.
Oh man.
As opposed to like appeasing the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. She had no qualms about going up there and being like, here's the issue. Here's where you stand on the issue because this is what you said.
I love her already.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, you've got my vote. Like, thank you.
Oh wow.
So you haven't heard of her?
No, I've watched a few Joe Rogan shows.
So Joe Rogan is now exclusively on Spotify.
Yeah.
So go look up Tulsi Gabbard episodes.
Yeah, I'll have to
It's
do
good shit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, because another thing I like about her is her podcast, her show. She wants it to be more in person as we move through this COVID stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she is, I think, the most sensible. Like, so she was the only Democrat to abstain from the first impeachment who did not vote party lines.
Yeah.
And I always was like, when they started talking impeachment the first go around, I was like, this is going to be done on party lines.
Yeah.
It's not going to go anywhere.
Mhm.
This is literally people just trying to say, look what we've done.
Yeah.
I was like, you're going to get way more support if you like censure, right? And you do a congressional censure. Republicans would have been on board. Democrats would have definitely been on board.
Right.
And it would have looked like Congress is actually working together to do something.
Instead of acting like
Instead of just being like, oh, I'm a Democrat, so I hate if you have
you look at a Republican.
yeah, like, oh, you went out for drinks with a Republican.
Oh.
You are. It's like, all right, this is not fucking high school, people.
It is now though. It's
so bad. But Tulsi was like the only one who's like, this is fucking retarded, and she abstained from voting. And I was like, good for you. I remember when I was watching the impeachment and like it came to her and she was like, I'm abstained. And she abstained. And I was like, thank you.
Whoa.
I was like, someone who actually gives a shit,
Has a brain.
who's not just in this for popularity points.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if she ever runs again, she's got my vote. I will scream it from the mountaintops.
I wonder what the likelihood of that is.
Probably not. She's not popular in the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
But she's Democrat.
She is a Democrat, yeah. But she's not a well-liked
Right.
Democrat. So she's not going to get funding.
Right,
She's
yeah.
not going to
Not
get
if
out
she's
there.
like abstaining from.
Yeah.
Not.
She was like I think the vice chair of the Democratic Party at one point, and then she was supportive of Bernie Sanders.
Mm,
The first go around when Bernie was trying to go in against Trump and Trump's first
election.
run. So she was the only one in Democrat, and like the Democratic Party was so Hillary, they were just like, stop. And then she left being like, I think it was like she was senior level in the Democratic Party because she would not throw her weight behind Hillary. She was like,
this bitch is dumb.
well, it wasn't even that. She was like, the people don't really like Bernie Sanders has a chance. Let's give him an opportunity to try. Like, we don't just need to all just throw our weight behind one candidate before the primaries are done.
Yeah.
And so she's not well liked in that party.
Yeah.
But she's fucking awesome.
I'll give it a watch.
I will.
I'm always pretty excited when I get to introduce her or somebody not so well known to somebody.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. Last night, Toya didn't know who she was. I was like, she ran.
She's the fucking shit. Well, it's hard. It's so weird how our election system is because you get like,
you only get to know what's in front. Like,
you get to know, but you've got like 30 people who are starting in the primary, and it's holy shit! We're whittling this down, and it's the party that's whittling it down. It's not the people. And you're like, so whoever's a party favorite is ultimately going to be,
which is
one of the three.
Yeah,
which is one reason why we talked about early on how the Democratic Party was like, oh, we need a minority, we need a woman, and then we ended up with Joe Biden. And I'm
I was
wait, what?
Other than a black woman, so that covered too.
Yeah, so I consider myself of like a really like moderate, like I'm fiscally conservative and I'm socially liberal.
Yeah.
Like, and so I lean on either side of
whichever one makes
So I like the last election, I was just like,
same.
The fuck are we doing?
Same.
I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was just kind of like, I was dumbfounded. I was just dumbfounded by what happened.
Yeah.
And like, I just couldn't get out. And I don't think I am I'm abnormal in being a moderate. I think most people are moderates and they have conservative views and liberal views. They share
certain
those
subjects
and certain subjects depending, and I'm like, it's not this all or nothing. Like
it shouldn't be like it's so
But I think that's how we end up with the people we have in office.
It's become a client.
It's a mass appeal type deal, and so many people, especially the ones who are all the way to the right or all the way to the left, they think,
both parties have been hijacked by the extremes, by the polar right and polar left. I literally, it's become like running for class president.
Yeah.
Whoever can do the most outrageous shit and is the most popular. Doesn't matter how smart they are. It doesn't matter what they know. It's just whoever can do the craziest shit.
I feel like the last 4 years have been nothing but a laughing stock.
Oh yeah, well, absolutely.
I mean, sure, he did some shit, like good shit, but he looked like a fool doing it.
He's a reality TV star.
He is a reality TV star. That is our political system.
He played on
reality.
Home Alone.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was on Home Alone.
That's and one of the podcasts I listened to talked about that is nobody thought Trump was going to get the nomination because he was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what he did was he fired up the extreme right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And so to kind of answer that, the Democratic Party has just gone so far left
to counter it,
to try and keep this. I think all stems from the person I blame for this is Newt Gingrich. That's who I blame. That's going back. Yeah, that's how long this is sad. When I was growing up, when we used to have family dinner, my sister and I had to sit there and we had to talk about politics. So we had to know,
with your mom and father
with mom and dad. So we had to know who, not just who the president was, but we had to know who our state representatives were, who our district representatives were. And whenever it was election season, we had to be able to name who was running for what office. We would sit there and they would quiz us at the table and they'd be like, so we have an election coming up for a sheriff. Who's running for sheriff in Wake County? And we'd be like, so-and-so. Be like, well, what do you think of that? And then as we got older, we could start to talk about that. But that's how I was raised.
Man.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah.
That is.
I don't even think I knew politics until.
Oh, no.
What was the guy that Monica Lewinsky?
Bill Clinton?
Yeah. I was like, this dude is awesome.
There is a picture of me, I think, as a baby and my sister as a young child being babysitted by Governor Holshouser right after he left being governor of North Carolina.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because my dad ran his campaign and worked with him.
Politics, yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah. We knew the Holshouser. I don't remember him because I was so young.
Sure.
But I tell older people, I'm like, yeah, my family knew the Holshousers. We were like that. And they're like, really?
That's crazy. I don't think I knew who the governor of North Carolina was until Cooper.
Why? Because so what pissed me off about the Republicans and their pick for North Carolina was fucking Forrest. He was a fucking idiot. And why the Republicans wanted him to run is just beyond me. And then they would put out signs that said, run Forrest, run. And I'm like, do you understand what this is?
I like shrimp.
Yeah.
We're going to go shrimping.
You're basically saying, this guy is an idiot. Here's my proof. Because you're quoting something from Forrest Gump. That should be big red flashing signs right there.
Well, they were red.
They were red.
They were red. They weren't flashing,
fucking
but they
idiot.
were red.
And I'm not a big fan of Cooper either, but he was 100 times better than Forrest, but that's not saying much.
Yeah, part of it is just because I wasn't consuming politics until recently.
Yeah. Oh no, we talked
4 or 5 years.
My wife can't. It took her when we first moved back here to North Carolina. and we started doing family dinner, she's like, I never knew this was a thing families did. Because we will sit there for hours at family dinner, because we have family dinner about once a month at least, if not 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And like when my family gets together, we will talk politics. And my wife was like, we talked about the weather. And yeah, that happens.
He leaks methane. Yeah,
that
quite
happens.
often.
So does she. She's just passed out right now. But she couldn't get over it. She was just like,
that's so
my
crazy.
family never did this. And I was like, oh, we do. Like, it's a thing. Like
breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah. My sister is super liberal, and like, she will just poke at dad.
Yeah.
Like, so much. She'll just be like, hey, dad, did you hear this? Poke, poke, poke. And my dad's like, he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, my dad is super conservative, and but he was pretty much the only one that ever really talked politics.
Yeah.
And so, but then my older sister started dating her husband, and he was a lot more liberal then, I think, than he is now. I think part of it has to do with the fact that he enlisted in the army.
Well, military is always, I think, much more conservative.
Yeah, well, they favor a defense budget, and we all like getting paid.
Yeah.
So did I ever tell you my re-enlistment?
4% increase instead of the 2.
Yeah. So no. Did I ever tell you my re-enlistment? So when I was in Iraq,
can I use the restroom actually?
no, absolutely not.
Hell no.
Please.
What do you think this is? Boo! Someone boo that woman.
Go get her, Frank. Max is nice.
Max is a sweet dog.
He's a good boy. He's a good tubby boy. You gonna investigate? Or are they going into your space?
He's just watching. He's like, you're coming back, right? Because you're the only woman.
I need the attention.
Well, no, he just is so afraid of men. Really, I think he was
Good
abused. Like, I can't.
Good boy.
Like, if you move suddenly, just move your hand real fast. He'll be like, oh, I'm sorry.
I don't want to scare him.
Yeah, we think he was abused as like a younger dog. I'm glad my dad has him, but he won't bark. He doesn't do any of that.
Max.
Maximus. He lays on the couch and he waits for the sweet release of death. Like, we can't take him to dog parks.
How old is he?
He's 6.
Okay.
We can't take him to dog park. Like, when Durango barks, like, she'll just like stand up and just like he'll just look around and be like, what's going on?
What do I do?
What do I do?
Is she coming back now? Is your friend coming back? He was waiting on you.
He was waiting. He was like, what do I do? What do I do? Yeah. No, he has to figure it out.
Well, there goes another gallon of water.
Yeah, right. He's like, okay, let me come back. Let me come back and snuggle with the only woman here who will not hurt me.
I'll protect you.
I feel so bad for him. He's had such a rough life. And the last 6 months have been really hard because my dad's girlfriend died.
Oh.
And then my dad now, 2 months, was it been 2 or 3 months since she died? Has surgery and he's over here. So he's like in this world.
Yeah, like a bit lost.
Yeah, he's like, oh my God, what's happening? Am I here now?
Oh my goodness. These guys are crazy. I don't know if you remember, but when I met you, I was talking to that guy.
Oh, yeah, in the wheelchair.
Oh, he is so cool, man. I want to get him on the podcast.
Is this the Lego guy?
Yeah.
That's how I know him from your stories.
Did I
the
tell
Lego
you?
guy.
I found out that I went to high school. I graduated high school with 2 of his daughters.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
Which to me was weird because he lives in Apex, but I went to Eastern Alamance in Mebane. And so I found out their mom lived over there or something. So that's where they went to high school.
Mebane.
Like, okay.
Mebane, North Carolina. Boy, take your foot.
Mebane, if you're not.
Mebane.
This place is.
Yeah, that's how my wife says it. It's like, oh, we going to Mebane? I was like, it's Mebane.
So no.
So
but yes,
we're going to pass through Mebane. Mebane, I've never heard of.
We may end up in one day. I
You
don't know.
crazy Yankee.
but most people know it because of the Tanger outlets.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because we had Tommy's Mini Mart,
A Tangier outlets. Let's make it sound nice.
Target.
Tangier.
Tangier.
But now
Mebba's growing though.
Oh,
like it's growing fast.
They got that. The Walmart and Lowe's were a big deal when they came in, and now I found out they have an Amazon Walmart warehouse. I think an Amazon. I don't know.
Once they get a
also
Harris Teeter and a Fresh Market, it's over.
Yeah,
They've reached super boosh.
and now they have a Lidl distribution center.
Yep.
And I know that because I was making a sale at a restaurant, and this guy comes in with like DoorDash or something. And he's like, yeah, I'm starting my new job over at blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, where's your new job? He's like, it's right back here, whatever. Oh, what company is it for? He's like, oh, I'm going to be such and such for Lidl. And we're wearing masks and stuff. And I'm like, what?
What is Lidl?
He's like, yeah, I'm going to be working in the warehouse for Lidl. I let him talk and talk and talk, and he said it like 16 times. And finally, I was like, oh shit. He means Lidl.
Yeah.
But I was in Germany for 2 years.
Yeah.
So I know what Lidl is. And so when they came to the US, I was like, oh, that's cool. That's, I like that store.
Pretty
whatever.
much like Aldi, right?
Yeah, it's like an Aldi's.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But he works.
It's not as good as Harris Teeter.
Oh, yeah.
I've been Harris Teeter for life, son. HT. North Raleigh. That's how I grew up. Like I will not go. I will not go to a Food Lion. I'm like, no, that's for poor people. That's for poor people and food stamps. I'm from North Raleigh. I've got some class.
Okay, so
I've got white privilege. That's what I've got. So I go to Harris Teeter.
We have a Harris Teeter right next to where I live,
Harris Teeter's the shit.
and a Food
I
Line.
haven't been to one
But
yet.
Oh my god,
No.
they're so good.
really,
Yeah, no.
They're not. So you don't spend as much money. So they're owned by Kroger, which is really weird for me because growing up they weren't.
Mhm.
So like Kroger was like worse than Food Lion.
Yeah.
Like
That's what I
so like you went to Kroger was like, oh my god, is your family okay? Do you need donations? Do you need help?
There's church.
Like, I'm going to pray for you. You need Jesus. That's what you need. This was how it was in Raleigh back. It was very cliquey.
Yeah.
You lived in North Raleigh. You were super bougie.
you.
Super bougie. No, I wasn't. I was the poor North Raleigh kid. I only shopped at Harris Teeter. I never went to Fresh Market because Fresh Market was a whole nother level of bouge.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you want to spend $45 on a single pound of steak? Come to Fresh Market. Come over here. Like you walk into Fresh Market, you can smell the bougie. And look, I will tell you this.
I have never been.
You've never go into a Fresh Market and just like you will text me and be like, yep, super bouge.
They do the prepackaged meals there, right?
No, absolutely not. Fresh Market, no. They do have a great butcher counter though. Like great butcher counter. Like when I'm doing like a really nice dinner for me and my wife or something, I will just go get my meat from Fresh Market.
Yeah.
Because they have the best cuts of meat. It's all like USDA prime. Really good stuff. Fire in the hole.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to go this way. I don't want to hit the microphone stand. But yeah, so Fresh Market is awesome for that stuff, but not awesome if you're trying to shop there for your groceries every week
And have children.
and have like
family.
like unless you're making 7 figures a year, 8 figures a year, Fresh Market's more your jam.
Lord, sounds expensive.
It's stupid expensive. Like all their spices come in glass jars.
Ooh, super boosh.
Right? That's how you gauge it. Like, oh, you don't have packets, only glass? That's super bougie.
Oh, too much.
Yeah. But the butcher counter, man, they can cut up a piece of meat for you perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, and you can go get a good, like, you're going to spend some money, but you can get they'll have Wagyu there.
Sure.
Like you can go in there and be like, I want some Wagyu beef.
What's some off,
Yeah, that's
off
like
the plain Wagyu.
yeah. I'm just gonna have some Wagyu. That's gonna be $45 an ounce. Sweet. Those aren't even pot prices. I'll take it.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
So, are you from California?
No, I was born in Parkersburg, West Virginia. Like it's in the bumfuck nowhere. Right between,
Which is pretty much
Just like
West
the rest of-
Virginia.
Yes,
West
entire-
Virginia.
So pretty much West Virginia.
Entire-
She was born on the hill in the south.
And then
I know two people from West Virginia, the governor and you.
and 2000 we moved to Ohio to be closer to my mom's parents.
The only thing I know about West Virginia is what I've learned from the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia.
Well, that's fair.
If you haven't seen that,
The what?
have you seen it? It's fucking
And Wrong Turn. You could probably learn a lot
wrong
from that
turn.
movie
Yeah.
too.
No. So the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. It's about the white family in West Virginia. It was made by I think Johnny Knoxville.
Oh no shit! I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
But like, you need to just watch this
Lord.
documentary. It is
Oh,
going
Lord.
to blow your mind that people like this exist.
Oh yeah.
There's
Wild
one
and
scene
what?
where like one of the brother, one of the men, like the older guys,
Yeah.
is like walking down the street in like the town that they live in. He's like, in 1982, I robbed that store, and then I got out 2 months later and robbed this store over here. And Bobby put up a great fight, but shit, man, I just had to fuck him up. Like it's incredible.
And
like
it's
it's
real.
just and it's real. Like these people are
sounds-
not acting.
It's
That
really
sounds like
real.
a Johnny Knoxville.
It
production.
was, but I think Hank the Third is like plays the music for it and is actually like because he knows them. So it's an outlaw family, is what it is. Like they are I think they're from like Charleston area,
Oh okay.
and he's like, there's one like I guess a cousin tried to kill an uncle at
Then
some
had
point.
sex with
And then
their
had
cousin.
had sex with. So there was this whole like family dynamic, and they're asking the uncle, and they're like, it's like the uncle's like his stepfather or something, who like helps raise this kid.
Yeah.
And the kid's like serving life, and he's like, they're interviewing the guy, and he's like, well, he tried to kill me, so if I ever see him again, I'd kill him, but I do love him with all my heart. I hope he gets better. But yeah, he shot me with a shotgun. So if I ever see him again, I'll fucking shoot him. And I'm just like,
Sounds like
I'm like, this is straight out Hatfield McCoy. Like that is
Oh,
what this is.
yeah.
Like that. There is like
That's
you.
probably the family they came from.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you have to watch it. You have. It came out like years ago.
I feel like it.
You have to watch this. You will be like, holy shit. This is white trash galore. Jerry Springer has nothing on the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld probably saw that and was like, where have these people been my 50 years?
This is what
And
I've been waiting to do
yeah,
my show with.
I've been trying to cast these people for generations. You have to watch it.
Wow. I feel like I have to watch it.
No, you do. You absolutely
Oh, you
do.
do.
You absolutely have to watch it.
So going from West Virginia, Ohio, then joining the Navy.
Yeah, I was 20 years old. Like I just had to get out. I had to.
Yeah.
I was going nowhere. I had nothing. Like
What happened between 18 and 20? Was that like
it was just a couple odd jobs. I mean, my uncle had Down syndrome, so I worked for a special needs school, kind of as an autistic aide.
okay?
And as rewarding as it was way too difficult. Like just too many hard days, for the kid. And so yeah, I needed out. I needed, like, that country life wasn't for me. It wasn't, I needed to spread my wings, and I didn't know how to. So I pretty much, like him, I went to MEPS, got my job, took my test, went through, all the interviews, signed up. 2 weeks, I think, was what I didn't even go into a DEP session, which is like where they do the fake. And
do the fake.
yeah, you're in the service now, but not. And pretty much went home and maybe sat on it for a week because I was so scared to tell my mom that I had joined, because she's like, single mom. She was super hardcore. And finally I told her, I said, hey, I leave for boot camp in a week. And she's like, that's probably the best decision you've ever made. I'm like, who the fuck are you? And
This was your parents?
yeah, so when I joined, it
Not
was,
the reaction I had.
No.
yeah, I didn't expect it at
My
all.
dad was like, good, you need the discipline.
Good.
Mom was like, no.
That was my mom. That is
but she
a rare reaction.
Yeah. I was just completely, I was like, I didn't expect it. It was completely out of left field.
Best decision
I'm
you've
gonna have to
ever
put a
made.
Yeah.
mini
Thanks,
fridge
Mom.
up here.
Yeah, right.
I appreciate you. Bye.
See ya. And then my dad actually was in the Navy for a couple years. It's really weird. Like, he won't tell me what happened.
Yeah.
But there's no way you can spend a couple years and not do something bad, you know?
Yeah, oh, he did something.
Exactly.
But it was probably
Wasn't
something
it?
stupid.
Maybe.
But it was
Maybe.
We-
Dominic.
Well, okay, he was another great white buffalo with a 2-year contract.
In the same fucking room.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were in the same
contract.
2-year
I was
Army
like,
contract.
Who did you blow?
that is a thing?
For the Army now, apparently, he's 20. He enlisted when he was 18. He still can't legally drink or smoke,
And he's out.
Oh, yeah. They changed the smoking laws.
but he did
Yeah, yeah.
peyote when he was 8. Also, he's half Cherokee or half Indian at least,
Oh.
which obviously
Native American, please, is the proper nomenclature.
I've heard it both ways, but
They prefer
Wait,
to separate.
which explains the peyote
Yeah.
because he was very clear about.
He was very clear
how
about
that
peyote and that.
happened.
Yeah.
But he's whiter than you.
I was like, bro, if you ever get peyote, I'm down. Let's do this.
So like a 30-second Cherokee or something.
no half.
No, he's
What?
half. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's
And-
half. He's like straight up. He's like, I'm half Cherokee.
And
fucking
Santa Claus
half.
white.
Yeah.
And if he goes
And
out
he
in the
like,
sun
yeah,
for
he's
too long-
alabaster skin is all get
Oh
out.
Lord!
Nice.
Yeah.
He is like the picture of what like Hitler wanted in the Aryan youth. He really is.
Like
Like
he's
he's
half,
but he's half Cherokee.
but he's half. Yeah, it's crazy.
But he straight looks like,
Yeah.
just a straight Aryan child.
I mean, I kind of get it. So I was chaptered out after 10 years.
Hmm.
And I
Like
knew
forced separation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I knew it was coming, but it happened on the day of my ETS. So I'm sitting in transition with 100 other soldiers. We're supposed to get our DD 214 and leave. They step out and go smelts, and then I go in there, and of course, like high school, everybody in the room is like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
and I'm like,
You know how they did it for us? You know how they did it for so in Iraq, all my seniors were getting like $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 re-enlistment bonuses. Thank you, Bush. Just to sign, and it was tax free if they signed
Oh,
on
yeah.
the dotted line in Iraq. Like, and that was like 50 grand in their pocket on top of whatever they made while they deployed.
tax free,
Tax free,
of course.
because that was their re-enlistment bonus. I'll never forget my first sergeant came to me and was like, so I will give this to my first sergeant. He was doing his job because that's who tries to do the re-enlistment. And he was like, hey, your best friend, so-and-so he's re-enlisting. And I'm like, no, the fuck he's not. He ain't. So that was the first game we tried to play, not realizing that we would like go platoon tag and talk to each other because he was in a different platoon. I'd be like, hey, bro, first sergeant. First sergeant said you were re-enlisting. He's like, yeah, he told me the same shit about you. I knew it wasn't true. I'm like, yeah, okay, good. We're on the same
Just as
page.
long as we're
Just as long as
still
we're on the same
tracking.
page. But then I was like, all right, I might reconsider it. How much is the re-enlistment bonus going for?
Ain't
He's
shit.
like, $2,000. I was like, fuck you, get out of my face. I was like, if it was a 2.5 with a comma after it, I might consider it. If it was a 50, I wouldn't even think. I just signed.
Just come here. Fuck
But-
my friend.
Yeah,
Give me the 50.
fuck that dude over there. I haven't seen him in months. I'm getting fucking paid. Like, but no, it literally went from anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 depending on your rank down to like 2. And I was like, yeah, fuck that shit. And then apparently, if you were infantry back then, because this was 2010, if you were infantry, your re-enlistment package went up to the SAG Madge of the Marine Corps.
Sad.
Yeah, the SAG Madge.
I love how
Sad
each
badge.
branch has a different term for the same thing.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's a Marine Corps wide thing. That's just what we kind of called it in my company. Oh, the Sag Match is calling you.
Oh.
But no, so apparently it went up to his office to approve every reenlistment because they were at this point, Iraq was over and they had already made a pullout date for Afghanistan. Yes, that's right. I said pullout. Let's make jokes. Pullout date. So that we knew that war was coming to an end. So they needed a reduction in force.
Yeah.
So if you had, some
So
hardcore
many
trainings
years,
or whatever, you could say, but infantry, you didn't really need that. You were a dime a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
So they were just like, we're only going to keep the best of the best of the Marine of the infantry.
The best, sir.
And I was like, yeah. Okay. So you're keeping the guys who've never deployed and are great garrison Marines because infantry Marines, by and large, are not good at being in garrison. They don't do the whole, like, if you tried to get us running and doing the chants at the same time, we would fucking beat you. Because that's what pogues do. Fuck that shit. Like, I will run in silence and just be in my own hate-filled fire because I have to be in a...
this, my own chant.
I had one guy, like, they made us do it once, and we had one, like, my platoon commander was like, I'm not fucking doing this. And so we pulled a guy out, and he was like, I really want a cigarette, like while we're running through main side of Lejeune and just like in this battalion run or regimental run or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I'm going to say the fucking worst shit I can think of.
Yep.
Like he was going like, cause we say, so in the Marines, you'll hear like left, right, Leo and like no one knows. So he would be like, the hell is a Leo? And like, that's what we would chant back. In the moto run, and he was just saying stupid shit like, "Is this fucking over yet?" And like we were just chanting it out as a platoon.
Just repeat,
because this is something that only pogues do. Like that's like we call that moto running. We don't do that.
I can verify.
Yeah, pogues do that. Let them go and be like
regimental runs. I don't think ever happen.
No, we had to do it. I think we had to do it for like Memorial Day or something.
I think I did one division size run. I mean, you got to think.
It was either regimental or division for us.
This is about the dumbest shit you can do because a company run isn't. It's still for morale, but you can't
makes no one.
A company run, you still get the slinky, but a division size run, like the people up front are finished running the 5 miles by the time you get started.
Yeah, we would do division runs and be like. By the end of it, it doesn't even feel like you've worked out.
No.
Like you're just kind of like...
Airborne shuffle like a motherfucker.
Yeah, you're like, I'm going to walk 700 yards and then I'm going to run 10 feet. No. And then I'm going to walk 700 more yards. And this is just going to eat up
half the day.
Half of my fucking life right now.
And we would show up at 4 a.m. to step off at 5:30 and then be done running by 8 if we're lucky.
Yeah, it was funny because you'd hear all the infantry units in the middle. Like it would just be, you would hear like motor run, then you'd have like 500 men silent as a fucking bird. And then you'd hear like just 500 more people just like in different moto chants. And it's like, we would just be like, this is fucking stupid. Why the fuck am I doing this?
Why are they near me?
Why are their pogue smell is getting on to me.
Hell.
Oh, it touched me.
I mean, I gotta be honest, like a platoon size cadence run was fun.
Oh, hell no.
I liked it.
Hell no.
Yeah.
If I ever did a platoon size run, it was always like it was just straight up to break you off.
But you didn't call cadence on a squad run, and a company size run, you get the damn slinky effect going on.
Well,
we
never did company size runs.
Stupid.
Never did company sized runs. Ever.
Yeah, but I'm a pogue, so.
Well, that's because it's a pogue run. Like, it was like, fucking platoons go out, PT yourself. And then the platoons would come together and be like, squads go out and PT by yourself. Like platoon runs,
That's
like
the-
was just a straight up like the only time I ever did a platoon runs were when we were getting punished for something. Like I'll never forget. So I had this platoon sergeant who was his call sign was Silver Fox. He was probably 32, 33 years old, but he looked 60.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is what happens when you are in the infantry Marine Corps for your entire adult life. Like
Instantly.
you age like, milk left in a hot car. Like he did not age well, this guy, but he could run like nobody's business. He weighed 90 pounds soaking wet. And I think he was from like West Virginia or somewhere. And so we had a weekend limbo and a bunch of shit happened in our platoon. I think there was like 3 or 4 DUIs, a couple of like fights and shit like that. So Monday morning, he's like, all right, fine. Y'all want to fuck around on the weekends. All right, good. We did like a 10-mile station run, like a station run. Where it's like, all right, we're going to run just 3 miles as fast. And then, so we ended up running all the way to the front gate of Lejeune and back. And while doing stations, and then when we hit the gate, we turned around. And he's like, all right, I'm going to give you guys a 3-minute head start. If I finish before anybody, we're working out again at noon. And we all just took off running. And we all it was.
I would have tripped that bastard.
This mother,
Fuck you.
This mother, like it was like running from a bear in the woods. We weren't trying to trip him. We were tripping people we were next to because we were like, he's gonna help you up. I'm not. It's like, yeah, we're not jumping on that grenade for anybody. It was fucking awful, and it was a punishment run. But that was like the only time we did like platoon size runs. Like, oh. It's punishment. I'm going to just fuck you up for sakes of fucking you up. Like it's literally like in Full Metal Jacket where they're like, I'm going to PT you until you die. Was the platoon run. It's like, okay, we're doing this.
So the one group punishment I remember that really sticks out is basically this dude. I was at Fort Pope. I was still lower enlisted. I want to say we had not deployed yet, but this one E6 stepped in as platoon sergeant, and this one guy.
I was a platoon sergeant as E3 for about 2 months.
Well, that's what they told you.
No, I was the actual platoon sergeant.
So I was squad leader as an E3 for about a month, but that's because the E6 above me, who was the actual squad leader, delegated and was like, I'm going to sit in the office. And
we just didn't have, everybody had left.
Like, hey, do this layout. And
for us, everybody had either left or re-enlisted into different units. So we were waiting to get more people coming in.
Support. Yeah.
And so they were like, hey, you've got some college. You're going to hold the billet of a platoon sergeant. And I'm like, I'm a fucking Lance Corporal. Like, why the fuck you? Like, he's like, I don't know, but this is what it's going to happen. And like, I would have to be out there as a Lance Corporal, like platoon, like saluting, being like, oh, President accounted for, sir. Like in the company formations. And I'm like, it was weird because we were all Lance Corporals. And so I would sit there and be like, here's word for the day. And like all my buddies were like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah,
we're not fucking doing shit.
I'm not listening
and I'm
to
like, I get it, bro, but I have to tell you this so that if someone asks, I told you.
I did it. I did my
like
job.
we have a single stripe with cross rifles. So we're all the same rank here. And that's all that matters.
Yeah. Same. It was there was one specialist or E4.
Mm-hmm.
So he outranked me, but they put me in charge.
Yeah, situational authority.
And it was in part because I got there like 2 weeks before anybody else, plus the 1 year of college that I had before I went. But it was straight up just, he was the squad leader, but we had nobody else. It was a company formation, but we were filling. The other units were deployed. They were coming back. So they were like, you're in charge, Smelts.
Good luck and Godspeed.
I'm like, oh, all right, I'm in charge.
They never said that. They would be like, Malik, you're in. I can't say it with a straight face. You're going to be quote unquote in charge. I'm like, Am I really though?
Yeah. Well,
Am I really?
No.
It was, we would go to the motor pool and do a layout, and this one guy, the specialist, so like I said, he outranked me. And we would go to lunch and come back, and he would be late. And I would be like, at the time, I'm super high speed, like 18 years old.
Sure. Moto.
Hey man,
Never happened for me. I never got the moto.
I'm trying to be like, hey,
I was a
I need
shit
you to be
bag
on
for
time.
life. Still am.
Professional skater.
Professional. Dude, when I came home from Afghanistan, my boots went off, my skates went on. I called my good cookie, the good conduct award. I called that my skating award because I was just able to skate out of trouble. I was like, skirt, can't get me with an NJP, motherfuckers.
So you never got an Article 15?
Nope. Never got ninja punched by anybody.
What's the 15? I forget.
It's our equivalent of a NJP.
No, I know, but what's the
Non-judicial punishment?
No, but Article 15 is like a certain right? It's like failure to obey
you're
direct.
thinking of UCMJ.
Okay, yeah.
So you're right, but Article 15 is the non-judicial punishment for whatever statute.
I see.
Yeah, you're thinking of like you're getting an NJP for a violation of Article 92, whatever.
Yeah.
So Article 92 is.
I did.
I got Department of the Navy. We know.
My good cookie was late.
I never forget it. I got my good cookie. I was like, skirt.
So how many did you get?
I had
She had
one.
to clear her throat. It's bad. She has to think about
I went through one's captain's mast, one
Oh, you did a captain's mast?
for one incident.
Real? Oh, okay.
And then,
I have to know.
and then the second one,
Because that's unheard of. Like you don't hear a lot of people doing captain's mast.
they do it so often now, I feel.
Do they?
Yeah.
So captain's mast, as it was explained to me, is if you're getting punished,
So
you can avoid signing and go through the captain's mast and let the next rank up.
So that's turning down the Article 15 and accepting. But you can't. Was it on a boat?
No. So it was within our squad. So it was my first. It was before I went to Gitmo.
Yeah.
It was my first 2 years in the Navy, or something, some bullshit.
You weren't waiting.
Oh yeah, no.
Let's get it.
And so for aviation, we always did like these. I like to refer to it as like we're what's it called when like the nerds, they nerd out and they do the medieval battles, LARPing.
Oh yes, LARPing.
Yeah. So the Navy is like a professional LARPing business where all you do is like these fake missions with fake bullets.
LARPing means live action role play.
Yeah. So it's like we go and do these missions, like we fly real helicopters.
You looked very confused.
I'm just upset that both of you are explaining this to me when I was pretty confident I was the biggest nerd in the room.
Oh,
yeah, no, we used to LARP in the Marine Corps because at training we wouldn't have
anything real.
Like we wouldn't have real bullets.
We did it too, but we didn't call it that.
No, we called it LARPing because it was a thing. You never seen like Tosh.0 where it's like Thunderbolt?
No, I
Thunderbolt.
have. I have.
That's LARPing.
I dated a girl one time in Texas, and she's like, "We're going to the park.
Dude.
My friends are there." And I show up, and these motherfuckers are wearing capes
and like
that's
swords and
LARPing.
shit. And I'm sitting there, and
I have
I'm
a
eating my
friend who
lunch,
like goes
and I'm
to Renaissance fairs, and I'm like, "Oh, how was your LARPing event?" She's like, "I'm not a LARPer." I'm like, "Did you dress up and act like you were in the Renaissance?" Yeah. Okay. That's live action role playing.
Yeah.
You are LARPing. That's what it is. Congratulations.
Role models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Role models. Exactly.
Continue, please.
So we were going to the desert, which was like 3 miles away from San Diego.
The 29 Palms?
No, it was the El Centro.
Okay.
I think it's in Arizona. Anyway.
It's the desert. It's all the same.
Yeah, it's all the
It's all sand and depressing.
Sand and a shit show.
Yeah.
And so it's like a 3-hour drive or something. And the whole deployment, it's like a quarter of the command goes to do like the support and stuff for these 2 helicopters or whatever. And us being aviation, we had ComSec, like I don't think he's ever tried it.
No one has. It's Bud Light Lime. It's fucking gross.
That's fair.
Don't say that because I don't want to have to edit shit out.
You don't have to edit that out. It's a widely
fact.
regarded fact that Bud Light Lime is gross.
Just the brand name. I don't want to have to edit it out.
Oh,
They're not good. First of all, we're not making money, so we don't have to edit anything.
Well, then maybe I could petition them and be like, "Hey,
stop being stupid.
we need your money."
I'll put a footnote on there and says, I've watched John Oliver. He does this all the time and bashes Bud Light Lime.
And you let him go.
And you
That's
let
fair.
him go. So
That's
fuck
fair.
it.
Sure.
So
You've set a precedent. Deal with it.
it was I was the least ranked. I was the E3, in this group of 4. We were waiting on our server for our computer, like for our all of our paperwork and shit.
Yeah.
So, and then we took the ComSec with us. So it was me and my lead and another woman. So it was just the 4 of us in this van going with a bunch of computer shit, following everyone else up, like maybe an hour behind or something. And my lead decided to bring this handle of vodka. And I'm like, what, 22 at the time?
Seems legit.
Yeah, from West Virginia back roads. So it's like no fucking big deal to me. I'm not driving.
Vodka.
Yeah. Here are some water.
BII.
You'll never smell it.
Yeah, you'll never smell it.
Jet tire iron.
It's not ever clear. Let's not go crazy here, people.
Vodka.
She's from West Virginia, where it's like, man, it's not moonshine. I got this. It's not going to make me go blind.
We're good.
Got it.
And check.
So
It's crazy. Just give me a crazy straw to drink this out of.
because I'm feeling crazy.
Yeah, because I'm feeling wild. Hashtag you only live once.
So on the drive, there's this casino out in the middle of nowhere, like on the way.
This is getting
And it
better
just gets,
as we
yes,
go.
it really does. And so we're drinking.
The story better end with alien abductions or gang rape. That's all I know. I'm just
One of 2, okay? Right.
yeah, one of 2 is fine.
Okay.
As long as we're hitting 50-50, I'm fine.
And so we stop at this casino, we gamble a little. Like we were back in the van
And you're just like,
along for the ride.
This
Yeah.
is this.
The
is what we
driver
do.
wasn't drinking. Yeah, I mean,
This is what we
yeah, like we're talking 2 years. This is my first command, maybe not even a year there yet.
do. Yeah.
And
This is how people act.
yeah, like I'm whatever. Like
Yeah.
my lead's doing it. I got no qualms with
Yeah.
it.
Let's go.
I'm
I'm
not
following her
driving.
leadership. She is leading from the front.
And so we get there, and one of the other, so there was 3 women, including myself. One of the other women who was drinking with us, the other one was driving, so she would no drinking.
Yeah, well, quote unquote.
That was our safe.
She wasn't drinking. Wink,
So-
wink.
She carried in the hard drive monitor. It was a monitor, and it, the big bulky one. And she dropped it in the hall of this. When we were unloading it into the.
Destruction of government property.
Not quite.
Ooh.
So there were these Marines there, actually.
Always got to spoil the
They
fun.
really fucking did, because this dude came out into the hallway and he was like, "Excuse me, something." I don't even remember, because I was fucking half shit faced.
I just gone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what he did to our lives.
Yeah.
He came out, he recognized what was going on, and he went to our chain of command and told them
Fucking Pogas
we were
Marines.
that we were
This is a
shithouse.
Pogas Marines, because I'd have been like, if it would have been an infantry member, you would have seen.
plus-
Plus, it
about-
sounds like we're talking about a semi-office
Yeah.
style
Yeah, yeah.
environment.
No, if it would have been an
Yeah.
infantry Marine, you would have immediately recognized this girl is shit faced. You've got booze. Where are they? You can buy my silence.
Is there any left? And can I help?
You've got 2 options. You've got 2. You give me booze, you give me blowjob. Those are your 2 options.
Ash, cats, or grass.
Yeah, ash, gas, grass, baby. Let's get fucked up.
and let's keep our mouths shut. Wink, wink.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go to the loony bin with you, bro. I don't even give a shit.
And so for the remainder of our week there, maybe I was on this this restriction, but it wasn't actually, it was just the command being turds and telling me
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to do anything and had
So wait, you're the one who got in trouble?
the 4 of us got in trouble.
Oh, the 4 of you got in trouble.
And
It was
even
a
the
team
woman,
effort.
It was a
yeah.
team effort. Well, at least you didn't get singled out for it.
No, yeah, for sure. And
Fuck that douchebag who fucking ratted on you. I mean, snitches get
100%.
stitches in the Marine Corps, man. Like, they would always, like, when we got boots, they'd be like, hey, all like in senior enlisted and officers.
He had
like,
to be an MP.
like, hey, there's
Had to
no
be a
hazing in the
fucking
Marine
MP.
Corps. If you get hazed, you're
Probably
as much
E7 or
responsible to report it than someone who witnesses it. You can be punished if
Yeah.
you're a victim of hazing, blah, blah, blah. Then they would go away and you'd be like, and you go to the boots and be like, I'm going to fuck you up. And just to make you realize if you go to them, it's going to be way fucking worse. Like snitches get stitches, bitches.
For
Like,
real.
That is like shit may go down overseas. Like I may fucking schwack a civilian.
Mhm.
I don't know. Like it may happen.
you better not fucking tell
you
anybody.
better
if
not
you see
fucking
it.
put that needle in my arm because you going down with me, motherfucker. Like it's happening. I'm gonna fuck you up.
So you saw
very
me
much
do
prison.
something, you tell on me, and
Yeah.
they're going to be like, so
You saw
saw
it
it
do it.
happen, you didn't do anything?
Yeah, you didn't do anything. You're getting in trouble.
That's the Navy now too.
Yeah.
On deployments.
I used to have a first sergeant that would be like, if you ever have to look left and right before you make the decision, you've just told yourself the answer. And I'm like, if I'm looking left and right, I'm tripping some hardcore acid because I ain't looking left and right on shit, bro. Like, if it looks like a good idea, I'm going for it. I don't give a shit who's around me. 100%.
So you said that was your first one?
Yeah.
So
You've
what
had-
did it get
how
you
many-
for? Like drunk on duty or
It
dereliction?
was drunk on duty and the 92, the catch-all.
The catch-all, yeah. On
134.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
there you go.
134.
134.
I leave it to the MP.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, it was
134. You looked at me.
It's such a
crooked.
pointless fucking
134.
law. It's so pointless.
It's a
You
catch-all.
sneezed
It is.
in
It's
the wrong
like- it's
direction.
like,
134.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have your ribbons 1/8
yeah,
of an inch off your
off of
pocket.
your lapel. Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting 134. Boom.
Yep.
And I'm like, really? Fuck you, bro.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get
Kick
fucked.
you in the balls.
So many times the DACP, Department of the Army Civilian Police. so they're just
Contracted.
they're MPs that got out and wanted to keep being
I see.
cops.
Yeah.
Okay. And this one dude, oh god damn it, he was such a douchebag. And he's like, "Oh, did you look it up in the MCM? Blah blah blah." I fucking hated that guy, but it taught me.
I don't know
So
this
not
guy
just-
and I want to kick him in
Right?
the balls.
It taught me
right?
to,
Like, I'm like,
well, sure, but I'm talking about the reporting side of things. So, you know, being called out to something like that and writing the report, and I have to figure
Yeah.
out which statutes it falls under.
Oh,
And it's
God.
not just
That sounds like-
MCM.
Yeah.
It's not just the manual for courts martial. It's also, when I was at Fort Hood, it would have been Texas state law. It would have been Fort Hood regulation. It would have been the Colleen penal codes.
Yeah,
It would have been
anything
the
they could
fucking,
charge you with.
and I have to sit there and go through all of it and figure out, okay, this guy yelled and cussed at the other guy. So it's like, if I show up as a cop on a scene,
that's kind of the terrible thing about 134 is like
Mhm.
at any point I get in trouble,
Yep.
I know I'm getting 134.
Yeah.
So if I know I'm already getting NJP'd based on 134, I'm just gonna fucking go all out. Like
yeah.
I'm gonna fuck shit up. Like I'm going to rage.
We're gonna go.
So,
Like if I'm going big, if
Hard
I'm
in
going
the
home,
paint.
I'm going big while I'm going home.
So the
Like
thing,
I'm screaming, I don't give a shit, and just flowing up the bird
Fuck
at
you.
fucking generals because, like, you've got me on the 134.
Yeah.
I'll kick you in the nuts. Like,
see what and one thing that I kind of liked about being on the reporting side is that, you know, nobody likes cops, nobody likes MPs, but they're a reporting agency. So I had to go be a witness in a court martial where I think I talked about this before. One dude bit the other dude. It was fucking
like his
crazy.
ear, like
no.
some.
like
Some Mike Tyson
some Mike
bullshit?
Tyson, a holy man.
Yeah, it was like that, but it was not his ear. But the point is,
Wait,
that
whoa! What appendage was bitten?
his back.
Dick.
Oh, that's what I was hoping for. I was like, okay, if it's
So
a
the-
dick, well, there's another
The
story here.
backstory is we arrested these guys and got back to the PMO. We were both in an interview room, and I thought I was interviewing the subject, and my partner thought they were interviewing the victim. And the dude there, I was trying to get him to not invoke his rights so I could talk to him. Because if you invoke your rights, so I'm like, I'm
you were
reading
trying
him
to
his
convince
rights.
him not to?
Well,
You're fucking
Of course.
such a cop.
no, but
This is the biggest thing I have with cop shows is they're like, oh, you're requesting a lawyer. You know, only bad guys do. I'm like, no, motherfucker.
It doesn't.
That's not how it works.
It doesn't
don't
work like
trick
that.
me into
It
this
doesn't.
bullshit.
It doesn't work like that. You read off a paper.
Yeah, you read the Miranda rights. You have
as
to.
an MP. Yeah, but it's not like on TV where they just say it.
Yeah, you have to read
It's
it.
on a piece of paper, and I have to read it.
And they have to sign
And
it.
the best thing that you're allowed to say, technically, and this could have changed since I got out, is that if you sign here, I cannot talk to you. You can't tell your side of the story. We have to wait till you get a lawyer. And if you sign here, you're allowed to tell me your side of the story. And more times than not, the subject will start to go off, and I'm like, stop. Before you talk, you have to decide, are you going to talk to me, or are you going to wait and talk to a lawyer? And so what happened is this dude stands up. I think he's the subject. I think he's the person who assaulted. He takes his fucking shirt off and he goes, look, bro. And he's got fucking teeth embedded in his back. Well, I think, obviously once it gets to a court martial, there's no subject victim. They're both involved in it.
Sure.
And the chain of command, this is military we're talking about. This isn't civilian. So they're both in trouble.
Yeah.
But the point is, when I got there, all the articles I had stuck on were not on the court martial, and some were added after the fact.
They
So
I think the key point here that anybody who's listening can take away is if you're ever in any
wait for the fucking lawyer.
if you ever talk to anybody in law enforcement, your first response needs to be, I want my lawyer.
Well, yes,
Every time.
But I agree with her. I've said that there's a 3-hour conference on YouTube that my buddy Matt, who was also an MP, he got out after 5 years because he was tired of getting in trouble for your DUI.
My DUI?
Not yours specifically.
Oh.
I mean, like his soldiers. Oh, you got a DUI. Where were you? I was at home asleep. Like, what the fuck, man?
What do you want me to do?
So he sent me these clips, and a lawyer and a cop get in front of like a Harvard fucking law class or whatever and give a 3-hour seminar on why you should never talk to the police. So I've said that, and I've had so many people come to me and be like, oh yeah, I got pulled over, and I explained to them, stop, you're fucking wrong.
You're wrong.
I don't care if you're showing him cleavage or offering him money. I do not care what the situation is. I don't care if you got stopped because you were lost and the cop is giving you directions. Do not talk to the police.
But you do have to give over your license and your registration.
Sure.
Yeah. It's identification, but don't talk to them.
Yeah.
Don't fucking talk to them.
Hey, do you know why I stopped you?
Here you go.
Because you were looking for these.
Do I have a lawyer present? Oh, you're not under arrest. Well, you and I aren't going to talk unless the lawyer's here.
And it's not a dick measuring contest. You can be very polite and respectful.
I think that's where people get it so
Do
wrong.
you mind? Because the thing is,
it's because of television. I mean, it's because of because in popular media, when you watch things like Law and Order or anything with law enforcement in shows,
he wants to go
the first thing the good guys always say is that only bad guys want their lawyer here. And I'm like,
no,
that is not true.
They can literally redirect a conversation and make you step on your toes and admit to something. So
cops can lie to you.
Yeah, or that, yeah.
They can lie. The only 3 things a cop is not allowed to tell you is that they are a doctor, a lawyer, or a priest. That's it.
That's it.
Everything else is free game. As long as the police officer does not say those 3 things, because those 3 things give privacy.
Yeah.
There's a confidentiality clause. So that if
doctor patient.
So if you think you're talking to a doctor or you think you're talking to a priest and giving confession, there is a confidentiality there that can't be broken.
Yeah, unless you're going to harm others or something.
Well, not even. Like they don't, it's not by law. Like you really don't have, you should, but there's no litigation that I know of that says
that they can.
Now doctors, like psychologists, will have to, like, if they know, They have the caveat. But if there is a priest who's like, you've confessed to a crime that has already been committed, or you're thinking about, I'm held to the confessional. What you tell me is between
God bless
you,
those
me,
Catholics.
and God. Yeah, right. Thanks, Rome.
I think
Thanks, Vatican.
The number one suggestion I would give anybody is go to YouTube and type in why you should never talk to the police. There's 2 or 3 different videos. Altogether, it comes to maybe about 3 hours. If you don't have that kind of time, put it on 2 times the speed and listen to it. It's a lawyer, a police officer, and then like a role-playing type deal.
Sure.
And it explains why you should never talk to the cops. But I mean, the point is the police are a reporting agency.
Yeah. They report to the DA.
If you don't, all they do is they take the information and they pass it along.
As like,
So
it's no big deal. But that DA agent is like, fuck that broad, let's get her.
So if a cop shows up to the scene and you don't just go vomit on your fucking words, then there's charges that could exist that you might not have to deal with because you kept your fucking mouth shut at the end of the day.
Before the Marine Corps, I studied criminal law and justice, or applied criminology, I think.
Oh, that was your degree you're pursuing?
That was because I thought I was going to go to law school.
Oh, okay.
I like to argue with people.
Oh, nice.
One of my things. I don't know if you.
He said, I like to argue with.
I like to argue with people.
A nice little niche.
Yeah, it's like I object, sir. But the first, like my intro class when I was a freshman in criminal law and justice, I had this professor. He's like, it was a freshman level class, and it was just giving you kind of it's an intro class. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. And the day one, we go over policing. And he says, look, one thing you need to get out of this class. One thing. Never argue with someone who has a badge and a gun. The badge gives them power. The gun gives them the ability to execute that power.
Yeah.
And you have no fucking idea what kind of day this motherfucker's had. He could have walked in on his wife fucking getting gangbanged. This is exactly what he said in class.
Especially,
he's like, he could have watched his wife just getting gangbanged by a bunch of motherfuckers, and he's just pissed off at the world. And now he's just looking to take it out on someone.
And now you crossed this.
And if you just raise the argument with him, he's like, police isn't where you argue. The courtroom is where you argue.
Yeah.
Let police do whatever it is they're going to do. This whole bullshit of like, oh, I'm not doing, and like, no. They pull you over, you give them your license and ID. They're going to search you. Let them search you. You're not going to stop them. It may be illegal. It may be an illegal search and seizure, but you argue that in court. You don't argue that with
on the fucking stop
on the fucking side of the road where there's 7 motherfuckers with guns who, if
and
you like
really
try and swing on, like who is gonna fuck your shit if you try and do it, because then they've got you on a hands up and just say, hey, that's it. I'm not saying anything. I'm not doing anything. You're going to do what you're going to do, and I will fight the rest of it in court.
Yeah. I'll see you again, sir.
I will see you again.
No, definitely.
I think that needs to be taught to so many people.
Oh, for sure.
Because I don't think a lot of people understand that. Because cops do have a dangerous job.
Yeah.
I've been on the side of having to raid houses and having to go, not as a police officer, but as a Marine, and been like, you don't know how quickly that shit can turn. Like, I mean, and it's not like this, there's this progression. It is quiet 1 minute and then there's an explosion the next. And I mean, it's literally like a snap.
I was in kind of North Fort / Charlie sector, Fort Hood, and we got called. I think it was dispatched as a shooting, but when we showed up, it was borderline DOA. So I think we all called it that after the fact, and we had to, do certain things afterwards. But
who's snoring? Is it?
I think it's this guy.
Because I can hear it. I'm like, if I can hear it, the microphone.
It'll be all right. It'll be all right. But so we showed up. Basically, the guy he wasn't necessarily dead on arrival. I think he passed away in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. But the dude that shot him barricaded himself in his home.
No, thank you.
What kind is it?
I just hit the microphone so that you're going to hear that. I've got Pilsner. I'm keeping this one.
Huh.
I've got a pale ale.
I'll take the Pilsner.
You're a bitch.
I don't think I can do anything to earn
You
his
were in
respect.
the army, so
And I was an MP. So, he barricaded himself in his house with his family,
The DOA guy.
which was the dude that shot him. So we show up and there's, borderline possibly dead guy in the fucking driveway, and then this other dude,
See, for me, you barricade yourself in the house. I'm like, all right, well, we'll just drop a JDAM on that shit and deal with it. Like, that's how I deal with it.
Fine. You want to play games?
We'll play motherfucking games, bitch.
So we're on post in America.
Yeah.
Hey, you barricade
North
yourself in the
Carolina,
house.
right? Fort Hood's in North Carolina?
No,
Fort Hood's in Texas, right?
Texas. They don't teach geography in the Navy.
Fucking-
Yeah, you have like 1 million bases.
Yeah.
It's not fucking fair.
We have like 5.
They got 5. I've got 3.
I don't know that I would consider that fair because I'm talking about having to respond to a fucking DOA. But we stacked up on the door, communicated through the radio.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to feel bad for a DOA?
Maybe. Not.
No, not going to do it.
Shit happened.
Shit happens.
Continue.
I don't know if we know what the definition of DOA is.
Dead on arrival.
Yeah,
The motherfucker died, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay, I don't care.
because he got shot by somebody else.
I still don't give a shit.
Oh, okay. The entire story is interesting. It is very military typical, if you will.
Wait, is this like a PTS story? Like, dude had a flashback and like killed somebody?
So they're sitting around a fire. I don't even remember where I was going with that story, but they're sitting around a fire, and we're gonna call him Shooter, the guy that shot the guy.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, and then DOA is the other dude.
I got it. I'm tracking.
Tracking.
So DOA
Picking up what you're putting down.
says something to the effect of, now this is alleged, via like third party, because I wasn't there.
Right. No one
I
knows
was-
what happened yet.
In the grand scheme of things, with all the people that fucking responded, I was basically a nobody. I ended up assisting like radio communication because for some reason everybody else was in a black hole, which was weird because I
He's
was
gonna have to go
right next to
outside soon.
everybody. But
Okay.
I
We can pause and go outside and smoke if we need
yeah,
to.
it's our show. We can do what we
We can
want.
do what the fuck we want to do.
So DOA says something to the effect of,
Max is gonna lay there.
I would never do this because she's your wife, but I would totally fuck her. So other guy, Shooter, the problem with this entire scenario is that he gets up from the fire, goes 2 houses over to his home, gets his gun, comes back and shoots the guy.
It's premeditation.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue with it. But he shoots the guy, so the guy's dying in his driveway. Then he realizes what he's done, goes back, hides his wife and his kids in the closet, or maybe they hid because they were fucking scared.
So that's the
And
difference.
then he's
between-
inside at the top of the stairs with the fucking gun, and we're waiting to make entry because we're like, we go
Unsafe
in here.
scene, yeah.
How many fucking cops are gonna die going through this fucking door? So we got lucky and talked him down before we breached the door.
So that's the difference between crime of passion and premeditation.
Yeah. You
If
take
you
that
had
break.
it on
Yeah.
him,
You take that stop. Yeah, if you had it on him, it's crime of passion.
Mm-hmm.
But the walk to go get it to come
and come back. Yep.
You fuck.
that is the passion has died, and now you are thinking about
Yeah.
killing.
Clearly,
Yep.
yeah.
Clearly, that was a
enough.
big. I think that was a big Supreme Court case about a police officer who walked in on his wife, who was cheating on him.
Yep.
And he turned around, walked out to his car, got his service weapon, walked back into the house and killed his wife and her lover. And it was that walk back to the car to go back inside
That killed
because
him.
he could have gotten in the car and gone away.
Mhm.
That's what made it premeditation. Whereas a crime of passion is I have means and
Yeah.
motive and
I have this
opportunity
fucking pen
in
in,
that
I
moment.
have this pen in my pocket.
Yeah. I have, or I'm coming in, like if the gun would have been
Yeah.
on his hip
No, for sure. Yeah.
and he just pulled out and started shooting, that's the difference between
I feel like-
premeditation. This is going back to my criminology
Yeah.
days.
I feel like I might
It's all
hit
full
somebody
circle. It's
or
all full
somebody.
circle here.
I feel like someone could punch somebody over that. I feel like that whole gun involved scenario, especially
Now, if I've got a gun on me and I walk in on something like that,
walk in. You're talking about
police.
walking in on it happening.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a guy making a rude comment in front of his
that's
friend.
a different
Oh.
thing.
You see
Yeah.
what I'm
That's a
saying?
whole nother level.
That's
Yeah.
not
Like
crime of
Jesus
passion at that point.
Christ.
That's just bitch ass.
I got a mealy. Oh, I got a mealy in an itchy butt.
So
I believe
everybody
you're not
listening on the
sleeping right
audio is like, "What the fuck is he talking about?"
Puppers.
Talking about dogs.
Yeah,
Don't worry about us.
Millie's like, someone fucking pet me. That's all I
Yep,
need. Millie,
yep.
sit.
18 going
Sit.
on.
Give
in
me a
here.
paw. She tried. She's like so tired. She's like, Millie, sit. Millie, sit. Millie, speak. Oh, okay, good girl.
So
She's
your
so
your
tired.
first one was drunk on duty and
Yeah. And so we went back to the command, and the whole steps are is you go in front of your E7 to E9, you're, higher enlisted, and then they screen you and decide if they want to push it up to XO. And then,
Or you can request captain's mask.
yeah, but that would not be been in my interest.
I feel like captain's mass and a court martial are vaguely similar.
They're
No.
similar, but they're completely different.
So
because
captain's mask
it's
is
within your command.
captain's mask.
So,
So
your
when you get
platoon-
NJP'd, it's your commanding officer who's issuing the NJP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can go around him and
if you
go
feel it's unjust,
if you feel it's unjust, and then go.
it was not.
But you can go and request captain's mask, which is and you can request captain's mask up to, I think, admiralty.
I'm
Or
not
something?
entirely sure.
So you can technically request captain's mask all the way through the chain. So if
Mhm.
your captain is giving you an NJP,
Yeah.
you can request captain's mask, and then it goes to the company or the battalion XO.
Yeah.
If you don't want him to do it, you can then surpass him and go to your battalion commander, and then to your regiment, division,
and then eventually court martial.
and then eventually it goes
Okay.
to court martial.
Sounds like a lot. It sounds like so. the
No
reason
one
I
does
asked
that. Like
is
if
because-
I've heard of, I think one story of someone requesting captain's mask in like my generation.
Yeah.
I've heard of one person who's like, command's out to get me. I want captain's mask. It went around and he was just like, I'm going to request summary court martial,
So the
which
reason
means he signed the paper
The
and
reasoning
said,
would be
Yeah.
if you feel like if you're being like targeted
Or singled
unjust
out.
or
yeah,
Or
if
like-
you're being,
Well,
unpopular.
yeah,
so
if you're
they're
not the most popular person, you're not in
Yeah.
the boys club,
the good
Yeah.
old boy. Yeah.
you're
So-
not a good old boy, you can request captain's mask. But most people who are willing to do captain's mask just go to summary court martial.
It's
That's because it's usually
because someone
easier.
you're not in
So the
daily
reason-
contact with, kind of.
So the reason I ask is because we were always told, obviously having to know all this fucking bullshit about laws and stuff. You can turn down an Article 15, which if you turn down an Article 15, you're requesting a trial by court martial,
Yeah. So it's the same with page 11.
unless you're on a boat.
You can request. So
I
that's
don't know.
where captain's mask comes in.
Yeah.
So
That's-
you can
that's why I
turn
figured.
down. You can turn down NJP and go to captain's mask, and that's where it comes from. Is because when you're on a ship, as far as I remember, when you're on a ship, if you're, let's say,
You can't get a court martial if you're on a ship.
yeah, your ensign is
Okay.
going to prosecute you for something, and you don't get along with your ensign, who's like the officer of the day, you can request captain's mask, and the captain then of the ship hears it and he becomes the impartial
like,
judge.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that guy sounds like fucking.
But
douchebag.
in nowadays kind of military.
Now they just do it on Zoom.
where everyone's offended by anything.
Yeah, well,
That-
no, it's not even that. It's just
but
it's
for real
true.
though, like
But
come
for
on.
but most people that I know of would just request summary court martial because then you have judge advocate, you get a jury of your
you
peers,
get a witness or a
you have witness, you get a
character.
approach. Yeah, so then you can like really kind of pick things apart.
Yeah.
I thinking back on it because I got out as an E1. Yeah. If
Shitbag.
that's one way of putting it. If
Shitbag. That's how I'm going
I
to put
was told the number one reason why I did not turn down the Article 15 and request a trial by court martial is because of the potential prison time, which I was also told,
They
and
can
I don't
also
even know
be
if
good
this
for
is
good
true.
things, though, right?
Huh?
Court martials can be for good things too, though, right? I think no, maybe not. Never mind.
I don't know.
So a court
I've never
martial,
heard of that.
a court martial is court. So it's like a court martial is just like civilian court,
I
but
see. Yeah.
for the military.
Military.
Yeah. So the minimum maximum punishments change drastically
Mm.
between an
Oh, for
Article
sure.
15 and
And when
a
you
court
go,
martial.
yeah.
So the minimum punishment for me, I think, was like 6 months in jail.
Yeah.
At Leavenworth, and then ending up with the same result that I got anyways, except I was told that if I went court martial, it would be on my record as like a felony.
Oh.
Or at least
Yeah. Like
as
transfer into the civilian world.
even if it was as a misdemeanor, I would still have a record.
Yeah. No.
And so I was like, oh, I don't want a record. So I'm pretty sure it's true because I knew guys, and if you looked them up in NCIC or NCIC I think is the National Criminal
I see.
Database. Yeah. It's just wherever in the CAD we punch in your social and do a
Mhm.
background check. It would show up.
Mhm.
So I mean, whether or not it was true, I think I saved 6 months of my life by just taking it. But
Yeah.
I had 5 of those and 2 chapters.
Yeah.
So the first one I fought and I won because it was
Bullshit.
I was sitting in Germany getting fat and I couldn't run, so they were going to kick me out for failing a PT test. I talked to my buddy
Like you medically were excused?
No. It was just I neglected to put in the work.
Sure.
So I went to my colonel and was like, "Hey, let me run another PT test.
Yeah.
One more." He was like, "All right, when can you run it?" I wasn't prepared for that question, so I was like, 2 weeks
Yeah.
or something like that. He was like, "All right, so we'll see you in 2 weeks on a Monday, and you'll run a PT test." So I went out and I ran for like 2 weeks straight.
Yeah.
And then I passed PT test. It was funny too because it was like negative 30 degrees in Germany with 6 feet of snow on the
Yeah.
ground. And I go in the gym, do the push-ups and sit-ups, and I go outside to do the run. I take my fucking pants off, just run it in shorts. I was like, golly, it was so cold, but I ran like a motherfucker and I passed. Just barely, but
Skin
I
of my
passed.
teeth, yeah.
So that was my first chapter, but 5 Article 15s and
Oh, for sure. Does damage.
I don't know if I can.
My whole favorite part about the process was when I went above our board of chiefs, which is like our E7s to E9s. And my favorite, he wasn't my leader, but just a funny dude. Like he didn't give 2 shits, he was just, fuck this, or, you're doing a shit job, and just real. And he asked me, he says, at any point in that evolution, did it not seem wrong to be drinking and riding in a vehicle? I was like, no, I'm from the fucking country. Like, it's perfect. It's perfectly acceptable. Like, I probably did it a month before I joined. And
just kind of how I grew up, so.
and he was like, all right then. And they were all, they do the whole, your mom, your parents would be so disappointed. You want me to go call them now? I'm like, no,
No one ever looks at me and was like, I'm going to call your mother.
Yeah.
Like, go the fuck ahead, sir. Like,
It got me. That
Yeah.
one, it got me.
This is the Veteran Talk Show. If you or someone you love is suffering as a victim of sexual harassment, sexual assault, needs help with addiction and recovery, or mental health and well-being, then please go to veterantalkshow.com/resources. This show is hosted, produced, and edited by Ryan Smelt. Our co-host is Joe Ballack, and a guest starring veterans.